welcome one and all to the Genesis Retold Grand Finals, a best of 7 between two of the very best Myth has to offer. Magic versus Mista. Draft already cooked up, and we will, of course, as you can probably figure out by the counter gods, have a redraft if the series goes long enough. Let's dig into this straight away. Let's try to angle this because we have seen these two clash once today already, boy. And when we did, it was tight. There was an argument that mistakes were made, but I argue mistakes were made on both sides. Looking at the draft now, looking at the full picture, is there anything here that leans to an initial advantage for the Canadian or the Greek?
Well, the first thing that my eyes are drawn to is Mr. gets his Zeus. I know it's like not a priority pick for him in the sense that he's not going to just go, I need Zeus. If I get Zeus, I know I got to win. It's like, if I get Zeus, I know that's like a win later in the series because I'm so good with it. But my priority picks are still going to be what they are. But, you know, Mister's learnt from his previous challenges against Magic's Kronos, and he says, get that one out of there. That being said, Magic does have Gaia. So he's still got an Atlantean to play with. He's going to be happy about that at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, Winston, fair to say they both got a slice of what they want, right? I'd say they both got their favorite Egyptian. I'd say they both probably got, well, I hope he got his most comfortable Greek, got 2 of the 3. And then even on the north side, right, for a solid rounder to finish Magic's draft. And of course, Mista, we know what he thinks of Freya.
Yeah, Freyr and Odin. Now, I think it's important to note, right? They're going to have to do a redraft at a certain point, right? After game 5. Well,
I believe so, yeah.
They will do it, right? It's not after game 4, right?
No.
Okay, just making sure. It's good to note. It's good to know that if we do get to a game 6, it will be on a new draft, right? So that is an interesting thing to think about for late in the series. But anyways, yeah, I know I totally agree on the Zeus. I think it's just such a comfortable thing, and if Mista goes down, I think we see him pick Zeus on Ghost Lake. I think he loves that. He has Odin for Tundra. Watering Hole, we might see Freyr. Maybe, I don't know. He's got lots of Odin for Marsh. Lots of options here.
Zeus get forced on Kerlaugar? I'm trying to think what Mista has there.
Sure, like, good. If Magic goes to Kerlaugar, sure, right. I think Mista might want to. I think he might want to go to Kerlaugar with Zeus. I'm not sure. I think there's a lot of options, right?
I think the tricky one here is like this is a very different dynamic, boy, to what we've been seeing, right? Because now we're into a best of 7. We're going to have a Civ redraft in the middle of a map draft. And that's where I think very potent, almost all flexy type picks like Gaia comes to mind, become a very big question mark. It's almost like, you know, we have this in so many different scenes with drafting where there's the gotcha moment. You almost bait your opponent. And I wonder if Magic maybe got a slight leg up with something like Gaia there to kind of utilize that before the reset to force maybe a drafting error out of Misters.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like on the shout out about Kerlaugar, there's a world here where you drop a game and then you pick Ghost Lake and then Zeus comes through and then you drop another game and then you pick Kerlaugar and you get that win with the Gaia because there's no big Zeus there, the big scary Zeus there to take you out. But I mean, to be completely honest, Mister's also got Isis and Set. Both of those gods, they're not terrible on Kerlaugar. They're not. They've got very good options that we just haven't seen yet in this tournament. So I know that these guys will have well and truly practiced those maps and all the different gods that they feel like are going to be good on those maps. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Mister having like a decent option going.
And I just got confirmation, by the way. Actually, it's after game 4 we're going to redraft. So that does change things a little bit. Yeah. That makes it even more unique if you think about it then. Because I believe, and we'll confirm, but I think the redraft will be, is it going to be 4 picks still, right? Which means you're going to be having leftover of 1. So yeah. I kind of like that. Like, you know, Winston, we've had this in AOE4 for a while where we essentially give an extra pick because what you don't want is this awkward situation where you get to the final game. You're like, well, he's been outdrafted. It's over. GG. Well done. It's almost like you could just not play the game.
Yeah, definitely being able to leave one out, I think is really going to be beneficial here. I like Magic's draft. I think he's going to feel comfortable with Thor and Gaia here because they just worked really well before. So I think having them in the back pocket here is going to be really nice. I wonder what he's going to open up with on Blue Lagoon. What are your thoughts, Boy? What do you think he plays here?
Well, I mean, Blue Lagoon, we've already seen how scary Mr. is with set on this map, right? Like, he can't pick a Norse god here. I mean, Thor, arguably, you've got the Dwarven gold mine, so you might not leave your base. But if you're expecting to see set, there's a very scary Poseidon sitting there that can do a lot of damage to those Egyptian gods. Very, very solid pick in that matchup. So I would lean into expecting the set and go onto Poseidon, but there's so many other choices here for the Mister as well, and there's not really a great counter pick for the game one here from Magic, outside of just saying, all right, I'll go Poseidon. If Mister decides to pick Odin here, oh well, we'll have a game of it. If he decides to pick Freya here, oh well, we'll have a game of it. But he's good. Poseidon's good into Zeus, good into Set, good into Isis. So it's a safe pick to kick the series off.
Yeah, I think that's my bet as well. Maybe Poseidon Set. But I'm not sure. I mean, with these drafts, I feel like you always think it's something, and then people just kind of pick what they're feeling. I feel like I don't know. I don't know, man. And Set Raw, interesting. Yep, here it is.
Okay, so we are going to get the Eggy showdown here. This is it's very interesting actually because I mentioned Isis for Mr. Boy, but I almost feel like Set has been his standout Egyptian god for this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, there's been one slip up on the set, and it was a slip up of minute proportions, right? Like it was the difference of like a shifting sands getting cast and not in a moment that he needed to have that happen. So I don't think that Mister's going to be letting that happen again. He's not going to be having one animal on a town center. He's going to be having plenty of vision, plenty of opportunities to get his shifting sands off. This matchup is a very, very strange one in that Ra has got all of the tools to just get a stronger army than Set does. He's got the 15% booster HP on the cavalry, not the cavalry, on the Migdol units. And he's got access through Sekhmet like Set does, but also has that Osiris, which makes the camel riders boosted. So he can get boosted chariot archers, you can get boosted camel riders. Set boosted chariot archers when you're already behind, that's not going to be able to cut it. So he has to find a different advantage. But Mister does know how to find his advantages here. So he's going to be looking to get those early wins and all of the good stuff that comes with the Set early game here is my expectation.
I think Winston, the opening plays, that what we're going to really see here is Mister, we know he likes to lean that aggression. Set will do that. It's going to be a test of Magic's defenses. The question mark is what happens if Magic is found capable of holding, right? Well, if the first 5 to 10 minutes doesn't find the entry point that Mister is looking for, do you really then try to play a macro game against Set? Against Ra, rather?
Against Ra, yeah, I was going to say Ra has like just a super solid eco, especially as you get into the territory of being able to cast Rain, even double casting Rain, like we saw Mista do in the previous series, casting it and then basically casting it off cooldown again. It gets really scary if Ra gets to that point, right? And I think, like Boyd mentioned, I think Ra just has kind of a better series of god paths generally that I like, at least in terms of offering options. But in terms of Set, I don't know. I think Mist is always a magician when it comes to a lot of these things anyway. And then Magic is also a magician, right? So I don't know. These players, I feel like, are just kind of on another level in terms of their strategy. So I feel like me trying to guess what they're going to do is really, really, it's an unfortunate place to be in, right? We'll see what they end up going for in the end. Like you said, Set playing aggressive here makes sense, but I feel like Ra can just kind of mirror a lot of it really conveniently, really comfortably, especially early on. Skin of the Rhino is one of those techs where I think people kind of really overlook it a lot of the time, but I think when you're going for that second TC and you're scared of a shifting sands aggro kind of thing, like if you just have that attack, like you don't care. Like it's so good. It is such a good tech. I used to think it was bad because I was like, oh, why would you kill a Vil for it? And then I was like, oh wait, no, because it saves like 7 Vils easily, right? When those crazy situations occur, when you get raided, especially if you can combo it with one of those crazy relics, like the 40% HP relic on Vils, it's just insane.
It's interesting, actually, because the more I'm thinking about the Set in the situation, Boy, I mean, is there a world in which he just plays greed? Because I'm thinking about Kronos recently, and Kronos, a lot of people just assume you go in, you try to kill, but we've seen a lot of bait and switches where you just send the temple, you release the Prometheans, and then you play a macro game yourself. And the value, even against a boomy civ like Ra, is that you force your opponent to react to the play.
I mean, there are some. You have to be respectful of the set shifting stance at the start of the game, right? Like he's got it. He can push in. He can get that damage done, which does give the ball over to the set player to kick the game off. And there are some cheesy fast 3 town center openings you can go for with set that might catch a Ra player off guard, especially if the Ra player goes greed early and not scouting. There's also some greedy fast 3 town center, village center ideas, which, I mean, I'm not sure how good they are. I don't think you get enough of an economic lead to get yourself above the Ra economy, just going 2 town centers. So I think we have to expect Mr. to do Mr. things. He's going to go early pressure, and he's going to grab a town center himself here while getting pressure, while getting the damage. And Magic's got to be ready for that in some way, shape, or form.
Is that me? Or I'm kind of thinking about this, that usually this deep in the tournament, we almost have this meta idea of like, yes, you must play exactly this way. But the more I think about the way that these two have been engaging in their independent series and with each other, Winston, it's almost like the meta still hasn't been fully decided, if that makes sense. Like, yes, we have certain picks that seem potent, and maybe it's just the great design of Age of Myth, but it feels like there's a lot of new opportunities, new build orders still coming in. Like, I think mid tournament, like we saw some shifts with just a few obvious gods. I think Kronos comes to mind. Freya still being figured out. Maybe these less shown civs like the Freya could actually be a hidden edge, because I always just come back to that one. It's the newest god. It's one that we haven't seen much of. Like set Ra a little bit more fleshed out. Could the less known route with your god picks give you a potential edge in this best of 7?
Maybe. Like, maybe? I mean, I think Freya is pretty well explored at this point, personally, in terms of, like, a lot of the options, right? Like, especially for Mista, right? I feel like he plays it in every series, right? Like, if you want to know how he's going to play it, just look at literally any set he's played and anything over both 3, and he's played it, right? I don't know. Boyd, I'm just going to ask. Do you think, let me know, do you think Anubis?
Anubis, I've seen it work against a very strong player once. We saw B experimenting with Anubis, and he caught a very strong player, Kavoth, off guard in a ranked game. And I mean, honestly, on the ranked ladder, you can catch anyone off guard and get a cheesy win. This is Mista though. This is Magic though. Like,
That's what I was saying.
In fairness, didn't we
there
see
is
it
an
yesterday?
What if we get
It-
set
it-
Anubis?
It happened yesterday, right? I'm pretty sure Recon used it against Grass. It was a New Bites Open, if I remember correctly. So,
yes. What was the matchup?
I will double check for you now. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen it. I believe it was Set versus Oranos.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Against Uranus, those Anubites can really carry you. But against the Egyptians, they've got the priests. And it's just like, as soon as you see those Anubites coming out, yeah, life's tough. But here's the thing. If the Ra player is just going, and Magic is not this player, but if the Ra player is like, I got my build order, I'm going to do my build, and that's going to be it, and that build involves early farms, suddenly all that gold you need for priests to deal with the Anubites is now sunk into farms, and those Anubites come in and make a very, very sad state of your base. Now, there is an idea of, well, I can't deal with the camel riders, with my own camel riders. So maybe I go Anubis here for Serpent Spear, and for boosted favor with Necropolis, and for maybe mass Scorpion Men in the Heroic Age, or maybe a fast Mythic into mass Avengers or mass Phoenix, or any sort of favor play that revolves around Anubis and not going just the same god path as Ra into fast Resign.
Okay. I'm just thinking, we spent so much time exploring this, carving it all out. You guys can have fun the first 5 minutes of this game. So, by the way, guys, big reminder of what this is all for. $15,000 prize pool. First place will walk away with a pretty bloody healthy sum, I believe. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think it's $3,750. Second place, $2,250. There's already a 1.5k difference there, but it's actually so much bigger than that. You know, like the reality is, Wallalol, single elimination format, merciless. You could argue it's a clash of metas, a situation, I think you can agree, Winston, where two sides come with different ideas. One is right, one is wrong. There's no time to reset. There's no time to think again. This format, different. With the double elim, with the longer series, all of a sudden, it almost feels like maybe, you know, with things also having time to breathe with Genesis Retold, a fairer telling of who is the king right now in this game.
Yeah, and I just gotta say, I love that Magic is really like. I feel like he's peaking now, right? He's really come into form. We're seeing, I think, finally like that old tournament Magic, right? Like the legend, the OG, right? He's been around for so long, playing so well, and you can see it here. I mean, look at his path; it wasn't easy. Taking out Rapple, Vortex, and then Mista. He already beat Mista once. He's got to feel so confident now. But Mista also beating Recon twice to get here. How's he feeling? I don't know, man. He lost and then won, and now I don't know. It's got to feel weird to lose and then to be right in the grand final in the same day. It's got to be tough on the mental. I don't know.
I think the interesting thing is, it's almost like we could tell Magic was ready to go this far. We have to remember that Magic got beat 3-1 in the round of 8 for Wallalor, right? It was actually then Vortex that went on to lose to Recon. So at that point, we already saw the signs. We already saw the writing on the wall here. Magic has turned up. He has risen to the level that he expects of himself, that so many people expect of him. And he's done it once today already, taking out the goal, taking out the pinnacle of Age of Mythology Retold. Mista's the one who had to come for that lower bracket. Mista is the one who had to slay it, bro. But is that need for vengeance going to carry him through? Or is this Magic's time to shine? Best of 7, Grand Finals, Genesis Retold, and it starts now.
And we kick off with an absolute banger here in the bottom of the map. We've got our current undefeated Genesis champion-ish, champion, not champion. He is undefeated thus far in this tournament. He's playing in the red color as Ra. His name is Magic. His opponent today in the blue color. He is after revenge here. He got reverse swept. He came back and swept Recon in the losers finals. He's in the blue color. He's on one of his priority picks here set. His name is TheMista. The map's Blue Lagoon. Winston, what are we seeing here?
Oh, I just gotta say, boy, it is a great day to be a fan of Age of Mythology, right? It is a great day to be enjoying this, I don't know, this whole thing in front of us. It's so cool as we see the priest slowly oming away at a gazelle, as Set often does, trying to find those goats, trying to get around the map. If we look at the base on the north side, I just want to take a look at Mista first. He's got a very safe gold on the north side and pretty easy access to a TC. It doesn't secure another gold, but the TC on the left, if he did make a longer trek to that TC, yeah, if we look at Magic, he also has a TC on the left where he's got that gold just north of it. He could secure the one on the right, a little out of reach, but I feel like Mista kind of has both options, right? He's got the one on the right and the one on the left feeling maybe a little bit juicier if we were to go for it, but we kind of talked about it in the preamble, right, Boyd? Do you want to go as a TC? Do you want to try and follow a TC? Do either player go for a TC? I'm not sure. I think you kind of have to play the map more than play the matchup here. You have to think about how you want to risk your villagers if you want to at all.
Look, here's the thing. All the gold mines right now, even with a back gold mine behind a town center, nothing's safe here. I do really like the idea of just a one town center fast heroic threatening the denial of a town center from Set here. I've racked my brain about this matchup because I'm Set main, and this is the hardest matchup I think for Set right now, just on the playing standard circuit of things. I don't feel like you can play standard Age of Mythology and find yourself a winning play here. You've got to do something a little bit out of the normal to get your opponent off their game. Otherwise, things are going to get really bad. So options here for Mr. One town center fast heroic seems great with the vision to deny a town center and potentially then just go for max gold pressure, get a gold starve with just more units. I mean, that just is making a lot of sense. Maybe there's an idea of going priest siege here from the side of the set player as well. I mean, we're seeing Tar coming through for both players, so no sneaky Anubis shenanigans, no Bast action here either. I must admit that I have seen Bast working as Ra as well, but we're not going to be going that way. Do we see a whole bunch of obelisks set up for Magic or not is the big question. What is his vision looking like? What did he go for in this early game? It looks like he's got a little bit sorted out. He sees his forward town center. He's going to be kind of knowing there's a back town center there, but no units coming out at the moment in terms of priests. Whereas Mista, he's already starting to build his own.
Yeah, and we, of course, for set, you want to add those priests really early. You get to start converting away and bringing them home. But yeah, it's interesting. A lack of vision for Magic is a bit rare. Like, not rare, but like I feel like with Raw nowadays, you can get away with so much scouting. You can build so many obelisks in the early game. I'm surprised to see so few, especially with Raw. You can tap the obelisk once with Empower when you complete it, and you will get another extra burst of, I think it's 15% more vision, which on an obelisk vision, it gives you a lot of vision. It gives you another like two or three like houses worth of loft to really get an advantage. But yeah, he's gonna spot the TC now, and he's gonna see his gold mine here as well. So he might be thinking that this TC on the left is an option, but I mean, he's doing something here. He's got a lot of resources. It looks like it's gonna just be a fast heroic, like you were saying.
I think this is another classic Magic bait and switch right now in the start of this game. He's produced a handful of spearmen, but look at the resources. He's got 800 gold in the bank. He's going for the forward town center. He can deny vision with those handful of spearmen if need be, but this is just the center town centers for both players. This is pretty big brain, but looks like, is Mr. going to get spotted here, or is Magic going to get spotted here or not is the big question.
I think seeing the Wadget will actually kind of, in a way, give it away, right? Like, why would the Wadget be there, right?
Do you want to sack the elephant in to get vision and do a shifting sands on that though? Obviously, answer is no. That elephant is high value.
I think from the previous series between these two, he's not going to trust an elephant to give him vision because you saw when it dies, it immediately loses all vision. There's no like linger there. So you can't risk it. And I think the risk you have there is you just give an elephant to the TC, right? That'd be crazy. So much food. That almost confirms that you're going to be later to heroic if you just give them an elephant under the TC, right? This priest,
snipe on the
that's
priest as well. No more elephant steal. You got to keep those animals away from the set player because it's one, it's economy, but more importantly, you can use those to make a really, really big push here. The question is, where to next? Is Mr. just going to go for a naked fast heroic here? Do you feel confident enough? Magic's already set up the barracks to get some pressure going on. Walls coming up all over the place. It looks like it's going to be that naked fast heroic. You can hit yourself somewhere in the vicinity of like an 8 minute 15 fast heroic if all things go really well for you as the set player, and you can put a huge amount of pressure onto your opponent. But I mean, the question is, how fast can your timing hit? Oftentimes you can see the Ra player go for a really, really quick mythic age behind all of this. We're seeing another priest getting sniped down.
That's
Magic,
so huge.
he is in his element right now, and he is going to be feeling really great. 2 priests off the board. That's huge for him. He's going to be able to build Wadgets as well if he feels like it. He can go in for Tsukos here as well. Winston, I'm liking Magic's position.
Yeah, you definitely want to be like angling towards that macro game in this matchup, I think, as Raw versus Set, but we'll see what Mista's got planned, right? Because I don't think he's just going to sit back for forever, right? He knows that if Shadoof starts getting researched and we start to see those farms, that you have to have a plan, right? You can't just let Raw get to reign at this stage of the game, right? But we'll see the plan.
Well, is this? It is, yeah. So Sekhmet's the god of choice here, and I've been seeing a lot of different. Wait, yeah, segment for
Segment on the
for
right.
for,
Yeah.
for Ra. So I've been
Yeah.
seeing a lot of Ra players going one angle goes Sobek, one angle goes segment. Segment got a very, very huge indirect buff. Now, it got a Citadel thing that is boosted as well, so you get faster upgrades and all the stuff that comes from that. But the indirect boost to segment was Chariot Archer buff. And segment has Bone Bow. Bone Bow, 3 extra range. That's huge. You can zone out your opponent's Chariot Archers, and now Magic, he's going to have himself Ra with a boost of 15% HP, and he's going to have himself the Chariots. All he has to do is survive, and his army quality should be enough. And he's going to Citadel, and that's going to hold that forward. Nope, Citadel in the main town, so it doesn't want to lose it. Okay. And
Yeah, I
beyond
mean,
that,
it's
there's
such a
actually
big-
another boost that I forgot about. That second cast of Citadel is only 100 favor. So you can get a ISIS level population lead very easily.
Yeah, it's gonna get crazy pretty quickly here, but on the side of Mista, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. He's later to the age up. What's his game plan gonna be? Does he just commit to barracks here?
Well, I mean, he's got to hit a
Yeah.
timing, right? I keep on talking about the problems of setting this matchup. Do you just go for a Mythic Age? You have to throw a Migdol down to get it up, but I mean, that's an idea as well. Fast Mythic through Horus or Thoth,
Market
and then you just
even.
actually makes a lot of sense. Fast Mythic through Thoth here into Valley of Kings to pressure. Or you might get greeted by a whole bunch of Camel Riders, which might be very, very challenging.
And remember, shifting sands on the table for both players. So these little scouting units, it's not meaningless, right? Like those little scouts, if they see a good chunk of vills unprotected, they will shifting sands in and kill stuff, right? We see the
Yep,
vision
and-
here on the TC. We do have the scarabs potentially.
Yeah, the big thing right
Scorpion
now
Venom.
for Magic in producing units like he is he's got to poke. Otherwise, he just lets
Thoth
that
already.
Thoth come through. And Mr. I think this is very, very correct at the moment. He's
Yeah.
got to make something happen. Thoth is going to give him an advantage, and he has to push that. Thoth with Valley of the Kings is 1,000 resources. That is the amount of boost you get per minute by having the Pharaoh on that Migdol, roughly speaking. Maybe it's a little bit less, maybe it's a little bit more, depending on where your Pharaoh usage would have otherwise been. But yeah, Mystery is going to be hitting a big timing here. And I don't know how prepared Magic's going to be for this one.
Yeah, because you also just have the option, and we actually saw Mista do something really interesting. He got clairvoyance.
Yeah.
Right? He got the upgrade, right? For clairvoyance, right? So he can get vision casted like over and over again for free here. And if he does build up, I'm almost wondering if it's going to be Valley of Kings into just elephants, and he just goes for that second TC, right? With the shifting sands play. Looks like it's going to be camels.
This
Camels.
is something that Camel Riders makes a lot more sense from
Yeah.
a
I was
safe
hoping.
point of view. From a safe point of view, but elephants works because you just absolutely dominate the position. And if your opponent's going for Chariot Archers, you just kind of look at them and go, "Lol, try and kill my elephants."
exactly
You're not going to be able to, and you just remove everything. But Magic's going 3 town centers. He is going to have a villager lead. He's got the raw economy, so 1,000 boosted, 1,000 resources per minute boosted economy from set might just not be enough. And following this all up, Magic still has the option of going through Horus here to make those Horus Spearmen and deal with any sort of mass camel shenanigans. And he probably already has some Spearmen coming out here as well.
Yeah, and these Chariot Archers now have Bombo Ballistics about to come in as well. So you were talking about it earlier. They're going to have that full setup. Really a lot of damage, a lot of range. Very scary, this force. And that extra HP going a long way with Ra as well. We have the Scarab kind of waddling to the north. Maybe just going to try and chunk down some of the walls up there. Or threaten the TC if the Vills go to build the TC without like checking. you might just lose the resources to that Scarab or something. I'm not sure what the plan is there. But he's waddling.
Well,
He's
I mean,
waddling
I,
all right.
I am a little bit worried for Magic just on the fact he's just scouted the Camel Riders. He's just scouted the fact that they've got heavy camels. He needs to get an answer to those out very quickly. Obviously, he can just make his own ones if he so chooses. So the Scarab's going to get spotted over on that position there. But
Oh, but
Maybe
Decisive
there's
could
an
still get
answer
chomped. Wait, he could chomp. Oh, if he
Where's
had
the
been
vision?
watching.
Where's the
Meteor.
in the main base? In the main base. Villager's going to be garrisoning in. Does it kill? I don't think you can kill the Citadel. The Citadel.
Wait a minute.
Won't go down.
Ooh. We don't get shifting sands as a follow-up, so the Citadel could get repaired. I was scared there for a moment. And a raid here as well from these camels.
Do those villagers have skin of the Rhino? Ancestors comes down. Magic retreating back in with his own chariot archers. And we've seen there's not been enough villager kills at the moment. Those villagers, there's still a hefty villager lead right now for Magic at the moment. And Ancestors here is not going to do a whole lot, but it does give. Yeah, it does give Mr. time to set up Valley of the Kings and start really pumping. We've got barracks getting spewed up everywhere as Magic's like, all right, I got to make myself some spears to deal with those camels, and those camels are just going to burst out onto the map in a really big way. Mr.'s got no favor for Valley of the Kings. He can't get it out. He hasn't even got it.
Yeah, he doesn't care right now. He doesn't care right now. He just needs to use what he's got. He's gone for unit upgrades over Valley. It's only 40 favor, right? I thought
it's only 40 favor. Maybe he's already got it and I'm crazy.
I don't think he has it. Does he? That'd be crazy. Anyway, the game is progressing. There's a big, massive chariots, and in low numbers, the camels can't really engage against this. The chariot archer mass is going to be huge for quite a while, and once that spearman frontline kind of comes in, it does really pose a problem for these camels. And there's no Sobek here, right? So there's no Dark Water. There's no Osiris, so there's no Desert Wind. So you're really
honestly,
just
it almost doesn't
timing.
It almost doesn't matter so long as Magic has a front line for those chariot archers. Like we say, the camels, they're obviously going to beat the chariot archer. If you've got like a handful of spears here to just tank, then the rest of the archer ball is just going to carry you through because the DPS is quite high. But the question is, does he have enough stuff? The champion camel riders are really, really strong right now.
This whole position on the left, though, is completely collapsing. The raiding force on the right will get taken down eventually. We have Book of Thoth coming in? I always get those two icons mixed up. Interesting.
Book of Thoth for a little bit more of an economic boost here.
Yeah. Phoenix Rebirth on the way as well. It could dive under the window on the left.
But it's going to be a challenge here now for Magic. He is falling behind. He's got himself still some gold. He's just getting raided everywhere, which is the hard part. But he's battling up to full population here. Those spears are not trading well. Only at medium. Rain is in, and that's going to boost up that food economy here.
Just the timing. He just did not have the timing to deal with Set here. I mean, we talked about you want to enter into that macro game, right? Right, boy? We said, oh, you want to go macro with Ra, and it seemed like it all made sense, but apparently if you just hit him in the face, it doesn't get a chance to macro. We're getting rain. This is the first cast of rain just now. Feels quite late, and with so many vills being idled on the farms, it doesn't feel like there's any rain to be had. There's no farmers. Rain into what?
Rain into nothing. Magic's got nothing remaining. This camel spam from Thoth has just been absolutely devastating. Magic did not get the memo. Camel riders are coming in a big way, and he did not get those spearmen out. They're currently at heavy, but it's just not enough.
It's just not been enough. He doesn't have the food income to actually sustain this. He thought rain would maybe help him, but with all of his vills idled, it didn't really work out. The Citadel is going to be holding for a bit longer, but how much more? The catapult starting to take down this TC. More reinforcements. The Phoenix has been rebirthed. It has come alive, just like Mista's chances in this tournament. He got taken out by Magic earlier in the upper bracket, like semifinal, but now here he is, feeling the dominance, up double the population against Magic, and he takes game one in such a convincing fashion, boy. We talked about mental, we talked about fortitude, we talked about having to beat Mista twice. Magic, what just happened?
I mean, this is just honestly a strategic lapse from Magic. He had the position, he had everything he needed. The meteor honestly didn't do that much damage to him. He tries to make a transition away from the chariot archers into spearmen. I think if he just kind of sets himself up on like one position and just kind of really tries to hold that with all of his units rather than splitting up, maybe he's in a better spot. But Mr. is so good at just getting out on that map, getting those raids in, and Magic didn't have any walls up to slow him down at all. And that was just a dominating performance from Mr. showing all the different tricks that Set's got up his sleeve.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like a fast mythic, right? I think that's really what threw Magic off, maybe he was thinking it was just a macro game, but that mythic timing was still fast. I don't know. You know what I mean? It was still a fast mythic, but not
It was
like rush, right? Not instant mythics.
yeah,
Not as fast
two
as
town
possible.
center, double Migdol, Mythic Age, right? Or was it one Migdol Mythic Age
He
and then
had
the
two
next one came a little bit
Migdol,
later?
second Migdol before clicking up. Yeah.
The thing is here, I think Magic saw what he needed to see. Like, you move in with the chariot archers, you just see 5, 6 camel riders, and you go, why is that all you've got? What else is happening here? You have to be having that thought process. Magic went for a third town center.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
he
that's
he
just
really
that
did
stage where,
delay Shadoof as well, which is always one of
yep.
those scary things in that setup, right? Like it's almost like you want to delay the farms as long as possible, but then there's just this point where if you don't do it, you hit the transition at the wrong time. It's why like
Yeah.
classically, right, Raw would always like instantly do the farm transition, like 2TC into like what 14 farms, 16 farms even if you're being super greedy, right? And it's just like yeah, like we saw that at the start of Retold, but players nowadays try and play Hunt with Raw, and it's like 3 TC and you're on Hunt. Suddenly you hit the transition really late and you don't have that secured food. So Spearman spam just didn't come into play in time. Maybe delayed the rain a bit too long. Maybe should have cast it and been less greedy so we just had resources for units. But I don't know. It just seemed like he didn't have enough.
I mean,
Kerlaugar.
the honest, simple solution would have been to stay 2 town centers himself.
Yeah.
And just go Mythic Age himself. Like,
Mhm.
very simple. You have to read what your opponent's doing. You're scared about the ancestors. You're scared about the shifting stage. You're scared about everything coming your way. But Magic, just like in the previous series, that first game, Mister's always got a little something, something for you to kick the game off. Magic, I mean, he's got to settle into it yet again. He's had a break before the game starts. Moving into the second game, Kerlaugar, Hades versus Mister's Zeus. Well,
Yep.
this
Yeah, that's
is
the way you said that, I think says a lot. I really tend to favor Mista in a Greek mirror here. I think Magic as, an Egyptian, he's classically known as being an Egyptian god, right?
yeah.
But seeing it here, like Hades has had a really good showing on Kerlaugar, but so is Zeus and so is Mista. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see. I think Magic has been playing out of his mind this tournament. I'm really excited to see how he plays this. I actually don't know how
Well,
this goes.
one thing is for certain. The the player who I rate highest on hybrid water meta in Age of Mythology is Pegasus. Now, Pegasus didn't make it this far in the tournament, but Pegasus is Magic's training partner. And
Yeah.
obviously, his brain is ginormous. His strategies are insanely strong as well. And I think from a certain level, Pegasus has learned a lot from Mr. But if there is a Kerlaugar meta, if there is a Kerlaugar Greek mirror meta, I can guarantee you that Pegasus would have figured it out as well, and he would have
Right.
been using it against Magic.
That's a
So
really good point.
I want to go out on a limb and say Magic knows what's coming for him, regardless of what Mr. has cooking. I think that everything under the sun would have been thrown at him from Zeus. Pegasus
Yeah.
Zeus main.
Yeah.
So it's a matchup he's going to be very familiar with, I'm sure.
That's fair. That's super fair. But does Pegasus play Zeus
That's his main
like
god.
Mista does?
I
Like, they
don't
both
know. I
play it
don't know.
very
I don't know
well.
if he
They
plays it
both
like
played
Mr.
very
does.
well.
I don't know if he plays it like Mr. does, but
It's a little different sometimes, I'd like to say, but I mean, they're both exceptionally good at it, right? So for
yeah.
sure, I mean, Magic has had good practice, I guess is what we're assuming here on this
Yeah.
matchup. It's hard to practice every map though, that diligently, right? There's only so much time in a day, right? But we'll see. I mean, maybe Magic has had the time. I'm excited to see this though. 2 minutes away, and oh boy, we got a series on hand. This is a best of 7, boy. So we got the distance to go. If you're thinking, oh, Mr. look dominant, it's just gonna be like other sets you've seen from him in Magic. No. Don't forget, this is a Bow 7, and he just got reverse swept by Magic. So anything is possible here. I'm
historically, Winston.
Yeah,
Magic and Mista, they go to game 5 every single time. They go to game 7 every single time.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see this game go the distance. This series go the distance here.
Yeah.
I mean, what more can be said that hasn't already been said about these players? But you have to go going into the second game, winning that dominantly from Mister's side, and say, I've got the momentum. Maybe we go for something offbeat here, just to push Magic around a little bit, and just say, look, I mean, there's a meta, and then there's my meta. So I don't know, but I mean, where are the advantages? Where are the disadvantages actually in this matchup? You got Hades has got the better archers. He's got the better hoplites, but I mean, better archers are better than hoplites, right?
We'll see
Magic's
though.
also got the better. Hades has also got the better myth units. So in the Scala versus Scala war, that goes into the favor of the Hades, though the Zeus has got the favor gather rate bonus, so they're going to have more Scala. So there's also a bolt on the table, and there's a whole bunch of things to account for.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think like Kerlaugar also really stretches you out, right? Those TCs on the sides are really, really far away. And we've seen that before where the hoplites just being able to sprint over there and quickly take it down can be really, really problematic for many civs. That's why Zeus is kind of liked here, I think, right? Is they kind of deal well with the mobility and then really good myth units. They can push down the center quite well. It just kind of works. But yeah, Hades as well, kind of feeling a lot of those same things, just a bit slower, it seems. Like a little bit slower pacing to that death ball. Have to build up the tox mass. But we'll see.
Well, we'll have to wait and see as the players are now getting into this game. We see Magic spawning in as the red Hades at the bottom of the map. In the top of the map in the blue color, Mr. Currently up 1-0 in this best of 7 series for the Genesis Retold Championship here. It's been a close one. There's been blood spilled throughout this tournament. The rivalry stretches back as far as Age of Mythology's lifespan itself. And these players, they both want to win just as much as each other. But we've got Kerlaugar. What are you seeing here, Winston?
Well, taking a look at some of the TC positionings, right? And the first thing you see is that they kind of skew towards the other way of each other. So we could see a pretty even split here, 3-3 at some point. But I'm not quite sure. Usually when one of the middle TCs get taken, it's because someone has enough units to kind of march down the middle. And when they do that, it can generally lend to the next TC. On the sides, though, the gold mines that they're protecting are really, really far away, but even kind of close to the water, so ships could maybe be relevant there. But usually on this map, we only see the myth units, the free ones, coming into play as like the real navy. We'll see there. The scouts scouting. They're scooting around.
Scouts. I'm scouting.
I'm scouting, baby.
I'm scouting. Oh, dear. Well, I mean, yeah, so options. It's water map. You've got to go for fish. The fish is essentially a non-negotiable. There are some pretty wild, fast advances into pressuring your opponent, but in the end of the day, you're going to be having a very, very tough time of it. If you go for those, you really have to get huge damage done. So getting fish out to kick the game off, it's basically like just getting a town center, but at the start of the game. So you can't say no to that.
Mm-hmm.
After that, though, the question goes, all right, well, do I tech? Do I get more eco? Or do I make military? And for me, I'm still not sure what the best option is. So I'm very excited to see these guys showing me the way, because this map is very confusing.
It's a really hard map to play, right? I think that's like an understatement. Even it's an incredibly hard map to play. You're getting really stretched. You have to garrison your fishing ships against a lot of different threats. and the dock will only shoot back against the naval ones, right? So it's just a very awkward situation when your fishing eco is getting like attacked, but it's not usually that worth like investing in a proper navy here as well. Generally much more preferred to invest in land. It just gets messy. It just gets messy.
That's the things that we like the most in this game. A little bit of chaos for your finals day. It's a good time to be alive, that's for sure. One thing
Worshipping Hyperion right now, then, like actively.
I'm worshiping. I am chaotic evil, so Hyperion makes a lot of sense. You know,
In this moment, you're worshiping
This
Hyperion. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. Player 3 has entered the game. Boyd ages heroic with chaos.
We're going to be seeing Magic go for a very, very fast age up here, and also throwing a whole bunch of villagers over onto the temple. He wants to get Vaults of Erebus. He wants to get economy going. I mean, there could be a world where he just goes for a second Minotaur really early, but with 0 villagers on gold, makes no sense. He just wants to get that gold income advantage over the Zeus of TheMista to find some sort of advantage. Cooking Athena for both players. No center. It's going to be hoplites or bust, it seems, for both players.
What
with those
relic?
restorations being very important.
What relic did Mista see that was so worth that? Okay, Kopesh, was it? Because he trained his hero before aging, right? Slows down the age up. He did this intentionally. He wanted this relic.
This is one thing that a lot of Age of Mythology players neglect on water maps for whatever reason. I don't know why. I mean, I'm also guilty of this. It's like you're so locked into your own build order that you forget that maybe you should get a hero out and get some relics. There's always good relics on in Retold. Every single one is good. Some better, some monkeys.
Okay, hold up. Are you gonna tell me that the wall HP is that good? The gate HP?
I mean, yes. Yeah, I think more wall HP. It depends. Head of Orpheus.
That's
here,
situationally okay. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's resources, right? If you could get a little bit of, it's like getting a technology. It's like, I mean, if you get
yeah,
a whole bunch more HP, it's kind of like getting yourself stone walls, budget stone walls. Feels good.
True.
Right?
True.
I want to feel good about myself.
I'm
gonna go get myself some wall HP relic.
But it only works on like the base HP, not the scaled HP. So like as you get the upgrades, it just gets way worse.
All right.
Never mind. I have a whole rant about this one relic. I'm sorry. We'll move on though. We'll move on. So Hoplite's going to be the play, but immediately spotted. So not a huge surprise, but we're going to have Hoplites on both sides.
Yeah, and we're seeing Mr. He's already getting himself. I'm blanking on the name of this. It's not Olympic Parentage. It is Olympic Parentage to get his heroes boosted, and he's getting a Minotaur out as well. So he is going Olympian Parentage. I was so close.
He also got the move speed relic for heroes was on the far right. He got the damage on the middle. These are some heroes, boys. These are some heroes. Speed and damage.
Is he playing a Reader of the Gods right now? Is he going to get the lashing roots and start doing AoE damage as well?
Yeah.
Like, he wants it all.
He's got all the boons for these guys. Hercules is about to slap. Well, not that hard. He's got to run from these hoplites, but he's got hoplites of his own.
That's right. The spears do more poking than the slapping of the club of the Hercules there.
We got the Doms are in. The Minotaur tried to toss a Vil, and it did do so. We're gonna take some damage here off the back of that. Achilles is out though. Gonna run.
Achilles is out, and generally speaking, this is the unit you want to bolt early. We've already got that labyrinth of
probably
Minos tech, full Minotaurs. That one's going to be jumping straight in, and the villagers have to run here. He's zooms. He is a zoomer. He goes.
Yeah, he's busy. He's got stuff to do. Fishing boats have to idle. He just stands there menacingly with the axe. Oh man! And we see Achilles being retrained as well.
Yeah.
So
both players going to be looking now for the heroic age. We've got Mr. Whoop. He's going to be the one getting headbutted.
No
So
bolt.
One villager goes down. Mr. not reacting to this one here. The 2 villagers go down. 3 villagers are now going to... Whoop. Coffee break. We killed 2. Coffee break.
He was busy. The Hoplite's gonna feel brave and gonna get going.
It's just like, let me poke you. Okay, I will smack you with my axe.
What
Meanwhile,
wins?
more
A
fighting coming for
spear
Mister down on the
or an
bottom of the
axe?
map there. That Bull Minotaur gets sent packing.
I mean, Magic has kind of got a lot going for him here. I mean, the Egypts are going to be roughly at the same time.
Yep. Aphrodite versus Dionysus, though. There is going to be a bronze problem coming for Magic at some point, but he does have that curse. He does have Nemean Lions. And I mean, I don't know if he's going to go deep down into those, but man, if your opponent bronzes and you have like 4 Nemean Lions out, you can chain stun those while retreating away from it. And that's a great way to just disengage. As we see a town center also going to get dropped.
Yeah, going for that forward TC, going to set up for like a fortress to the left of it, maybe, just to really lock down that gold mine in the middle. Let me see some units. You can see why this map gets so messy. It's because these players have to defend all the fish everywhere while also trying to attack the fish. You know, see the hoplites trying to chase down the fishing boats, but they can just kind of waddle away. Oh man, this game is so funny. All right, the Scyillas are on the board soon.
Now, this is an interesting position now because, like, normally myth units on the water they just dominate, but on Kerlaugar you can just send your heroes over and deal with them. They're no better than a Hydra, like or any other sort of like classic myth unit. So they're not that menacingly scary, but when combined with an army, maybe it starts getting a little bit different. Curse gets dropped down. And Magic is going to push back in.
I think Mista might be okay with that curse usage though. Like,
yeah,
of course it's pigs and it's bad, but like the situation wasn't that important. I think it was just a little poke onto the dock. Like now Mista can think about using bronze offensively, right? And doesn't have the instant curse follow up. It's interesting. The Vil count.
I guess the only thing about bronze is it's an offensive god power in a way, but it's not like flaming weapons offensive.
Yeah,
it's like if you want to run away, you can fight it if you want, but you can just run away and it's going to be fine.
That was a recast.
Was that another bolt?
That was another bolt on the Scylla. You just didn't want to
deal with a crazy man.
And he had the favor, and it worked.
Yeah.
So who knows?
He could have had out.
I think
3 or 4 more.
Go on the TC. I think he has
he has to do something right now. The army's out of position. There's no sentinels available for Magic. Oh, he says no, not today. He's going to pull back.
I mean, Magic has the better army, right? Like, I feel like Magic is just in a good position.
He does have the better army, but he does not have the bronze. He does have restoration, but so too does Mista. And Mista, the difference here is Mista's got 9 villagers on favor. Magic, 1 villager on favor. It's a very different approach to this situation here. And it's basically Magic saying, I'm going to take 8 villagers on resource advantage. That's a crazy economic. It's not quite 600 resources, probably like 500 resources a minute advantage over you. But, I mean, what's he using those resources on? There's a lot in his bank. He's got to spend them.
Yeah, it is a big deficit in economy, and you can see that already really starting to stack up in the mill count a bit. It was, but recently the high passive spam has started to work. But the heavy infantry coming in. So the upgrade's now going to be there for Magic, and he might start feeling confident. The population has swung rather rapidly in favor of Mista. Looks like he's going to go for a push, but the fortress is up. We're going to have to see the bronze probably into the attack. The heroes leading the charge. No bronze just yet. Doesn't need it.
Well, I mean, he's looking to take the fight. There's a fortress, there's a town center. The army is coming through for Magic. He's ready to defend here. And Mista, he says, I got to pull. Big Nemean Lion stun there.
Interesting. I thought maybe Mista might pull the trigger and go for the fight, but he didn't quite. Achilles in the back, still hunting down these Minotaurs. Fortress on the front there, going to probably be for some siege, some protection, some quicker access to heroes. The hoplites get pulled to run to the south. They're going to go for the wrap, but that leaves the Hypaspis on the front pretty exposed. The Talk's going to shred through them with just a little bit of front line. The fortress going to get spotted here. No, Magic's going to back up. he could have maybe denied that. The hoplites
Oh
going to find their way onto the dock on the south side. 6 fishing ships will get spotted as well. Bolt on the Nemi, and that is the 3rd bolt of the game. Mista holding back no punches. That's a very expensive use of bolt, but just showing so much respect for those Nemean stuns. And now goes Magic onto the fortress, but is it a bit awkward? Boiling oil isn't quite there, so the restoration going to come in. Double resto.
Is this even the full army of Mister in here? It feels
No.
like there's only a handful of units at this point. The hoplites went and took out a dock. They're not going to be going for the main town center, though, of Magic, as Magic is trying to take this fortress out. This is a big moment. The town center will be falling, though, for Magic very quickly. I think that the fortress in the center is going to go down, and what's more important here, this gold mine or that town center? Magic tries to get over to repair the town center. He's not able to do so. The fortress still alive. Villagers now going to get targeted down here. The population of Mr. has dropped down to 120 as those hoplites still not rejoining into this fight. The fortress still alive. Now the hoplites coming in.
Wait,
and can Mr. clean this up?
The fortress is still here. He's going to absolutely clean this up, I think. And keep in mind,
Magic's got more units coming. Oh, the army is kind of getting in a weird spot, a little bit of weird formation.
Still there.
The fortress is still up, but now we've got the Shades rejoining in onto this fight here. Magic has found himself somewhat of an advantage. Here he lost his town center, but he still has the villager lead coming through here. The favor is still popping up for Mr. He doesn't have anything to use it on just yet, but I'm sure he's going to be looking for another restoration fairly soon. And now Magic says, all right, I can't just take your fortress down with my units. I'm going to get a Petropolis. I'm going to start sieging this, and it's going to be down very, very shortly. Meanwhile, Mr. says, it's time to go Hera in this game, and Magic's like, it's time to go 3 town centers.
You can't afford Hera, though. Like, Hera's way off, and he just got back onto gold, and Magic's here again. I don't think we're going to see Hera this game. I think Magic's looking for blood. He's looking for the throat here of Mista. He's feeling like he's up in economy, which he is. He's feeling like he's up in military, which he is kind of again, but the Peltas Mask is there for Mista. The Hydra going to go down on the front. It's been a very important tank, but down it goes. Achilles, Ajax, and Chiron able to do it. The fortress goes down. The Pedropolis in position, but not able to really press the advantage because that Peltas Mass is there to threaten away those talks.
I mean, he's taken his time to push forward here. He's got such an economic and military lead. Like you say, those Peltas are a big issue. It's seeming like both players are just going to be going in to the blob. The big advantage for Magic at the moment is that his Peltas have got the range advantage, and anytime Mr. pushes forward with his own units, he can just pull back. We do see a lot of hoplites starting to join in on this fight right now, and Magic says, I am not going to be throwing this game at the moment. Let's pull back and reposition as the hoplites charge in yet again. Those are going to fall basically all before the damage even comes in. Hoplites for Magic going to tank up against those Peltas as well, and Magic is microing beautifully. Another restoration coming in, but too little, too late as Magic storms forward. He's on 3 town centers, and he has every little bit of momentum. Mesta taps out, and the series has been leveled.
We have a series on our hands, boy. We're 1-1 in a best of 7. Magic not afraid to hit back here. He's able to do it. Gets the job done in a really convincing fashion. It seemed like Mista was trying to get the hoplite mass to kind of be this big threat. He was trying to raid, but Magic didn't let it happen. He didn't let anything really phase him. And it seems like eventually, once he got that second TC, he built up like a small Vill lead and just ran away with it. Wow, just really solid play all around. You saw the Tox Mass just be so effective against the hoplites. It just didn't seem like Mista really ever had a chance to do anything interesting, right?
Well, yeah, I think this almost came down to, in a little bit, just decision making. Like, there was this moment where Mista, the game plan to me was clear for Mista. It was build a full pop army. You take a little bit of a loss, you're a little bit behind, but no worries. You pull yourself back up, and then you make a full pop army, and then you click bronze, and then you just push through and get a gold star because your opponent can't kill your units. But instead, Mr. splits his army, goes after a dock, which let's be completely honest, in that position wasn't going to be giving any serious advantage over to Mister in terms of economy. Like picking off 5-6 fishing ships isn't going to be cutting it for the cost of not having them in a fight for a bronze. And Magic just realizes, hey, you've got half your army down there. Bronze isn't that good. I'll sack a town center to win this fight here and force you to have to hang around in the heroic age instead of getting that lightning storm off. And he converts the win beautifully.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I think a lot of times whenever I see people try and like raid Hades, it just doesn't work, does it? When you just have Achilles, if you're trying to raid with myth units, you have Achilles and the Sentinels. How do you beat the zone? Right? Like
How
in
do you
terms of
beat
like
the zone
actually raiding
indeed?
effectively, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
just never it just never works. Like Minotaurs into Sentinels. I don't know.
I think the closest I've seen it to work in tournament was Recon versus Mister, which was Zeus Hades with Recon on Zeus, and he did like a triple Minotaur attack at the start, and he almost got a gold star but couldn't quite convert in the end.
I remember that
That
game.
was the closest I saw. But yeah, I think you're right. It's just there's just such a difficulty to get in and get that value there. You got to find the value elsewhere. And I
Mhm.
did think that Mister's idea of just a big bronze blob and go would have been a challenge for Magic to hold there, but in the end, he couldn't quite convert on that strategy. But
Mhm.
we've got game 3.
Yeah.
We've got Gaia. We've
Yeah.
got Isis.
Yeah.
We've got Oasis.
Yeah.
And Winston,
Yeah. Oh.
I've seen Magic playing Atlantean versus Isis and dominating so many players thus far. He beat Rappel with Kronos recently.
Mhm.
Guy's slightly different, but in a way, I think Guy is almost even better against Isis on this map.
Mhm.
That being said, this might be the time to pull out Anubis.
Anubites. I just got happy. Oh, come on, give me the Anubites, man. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it, and I want to have fun. I want to see them hop around and have a good time, jump around. Like you said, it's good
Yeah.
against Atlantean. It can kind of get on top of the Terma, force a lot of hero Termas, which, like, you feel good about it, making a bunch of hero Termas and killing a couple of Anubites, but then you realize how much you spent versus how much they spent, and it's not really
Yeah.
an even trade there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's really interesting against Gaia, though. You kind of scared always. I don't know. Life is just scary against Gaia. Gaia just seems so dominant, and I feel like
It is so
Mista's not.
scary.
He just keeps giving Gaia to his opponents, and we saw him play it against Recon and feel really comfortable on Ghost Lake with Zeus, but against Magic, I don't know. Magic just seems so confident and cozy on Gaia.
Well, yeah, I mean it's odd. If your priority is the Egyptians, you have to be expecting you to be able to take out the Gaia. And it's like Gaia is a god that at the nth level, at the very top level, if you play around everything perfectly, you just kind of win on economy. So it's more like Mister is banking on his ability to force mistakes out of the Gaia player to get wins. So whether that's going to be a big fat Ancestors Eclipse timing attack, whether that's going to be a Nubite raids, whether that's going to be some sort of crazy mummy sort of idea. One thing's for certain though, Isis does have a small counterplay, and we've seen it from Mister in the past, and that is Isis Monuments. We've seen how dominant Implode can be. Isis Monuments block that and make it very, very challenging to get that one off. So if
Yeah.
Magic gets in a pinch and can't really make anything happen, I think Mister's not going to allow any god powers to be cast on top of him in this game.
You have to be really on top of it, though. Like, Implode is such a big AoE. Don't you need to have it empowered to even have it work?
Yeah,
Like,
he's gonna
to
he'll
really
have to have it empowered.
block it, you have to empower, and it's huge when you actually do that. But
Yeah.
I think the normal radius, you can still find like angles. It's tricky, but you can kind of, right? No,
The
no.
normal radius, 100%. I mean, what I've
With it
my
empowered,
reference to
yeah.
this working is I'm gonna blank on it. I think I've got it right. I think it was Mister versus Grass in the decider for Red Bull Wololo, and it was on Alfheim, and he
I remember that
was
game. He was blocking
moving forward with
Curse
Mig
in that game.
Dolson, yeah, and moving his monument forward. And
Yeah.
so if anyone can make it happen, it's TheMista.
Yeah, it takes a lot of focus though, right? And we've
Yeah.
seen that in the past. I think Mista's been able to get away with putting focus on little details like that. But against Magic, it seems like Mista needs to focus on the fundamentals here, right? Like
Yep.
last game seemed like a fundamentals issue, right? Like macro decision making, like just
Yep.
taking good fights, right? Like positioning, right? Like the very basics of RTS are being challenged here by Mista, which I think he got pretty comfortable not having to worry about that too much against most of his opponents, just kind of naturally being better than everybody, right? But
Yep.
Magic is in form now. Magic is here to play. Magic's here to win. He already beat him once. Last game looked convincing for Magic. I don't know. This is scary
It's
for everybody.
all I can say is that it's 1-1. Magic's got to
1-1, baby.
win. He's taken the game off the Zeus, which I think most people would say that like Mr. is going to be able to find those wins most of the time, but being able to get that win has to feel good for Magic. But Mr. He's had tough series before. He had a 5 games, a best of 5 game series against Recon, 5 game series against Magic. He's used to having tough series in other games as well. I mean, you saw him play against the Viper in, I think it was Genesis 1 for Age of Empires 4, and in that one went to the Max series in the finals as well from memory. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I can't. It's a couple of years ago, but Mister, he's been on this stage. Same too with Magic, and they both pushed themselves to the edge to get the wins. So I don't think in terms of mental right now, I don't think this one is on either player's side moving in, and they're all resetting, it seems, perfectly every single game to just play the best strategy that they think is the best strategy, play the best fundamentals. So, you did point to it in that last game. I think Mr. He just needs to get that line of sight set up. He's just got to get that vision up. If he sees something coming on the minimap, he's there. You can't get him. If you sneak, that's when you get the advantage.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. This is crazy that we're watching this right
crazy.
now. Oh, I'm so glad we're watching Mr. Magic right now. Like twice in the same day, we get this legendary set. I feel like it's just been so long coming. I think all the AOM fans have just been waiting for this in Retold, and we are 46 seconds away from our next game. I'm just excited.
Why not be excited? Like this is how good. But I think we're going to be moving into this game number 3 right away here. Not going to be waiting. Bottom of the map, blue player, Isis as the goddess of choice. His name is TheMista. His opponent, Magic, as Gaia in the red color. This is where things get interesting. We've seen both players getting a win in this series. Both players making some great decisions, also making some poor decisions to find their respective wins. Can they lock in this next game? Winston, what are you saying on this Oasis map?
Well, we got the dual forest spawn. We got treated with 2 quad forest spawns in a row, and now we're back to the dual. So you got the 2 central forests, not the one big one, not the 4 little ones, but the 2 medium-sized ones. And we got some pretty even positionings in terms of stuff. The secondary golds do come to mind as being very forward, but you kind of have the protection of the forest here is that it forces your opponent, if they want to attack one gold mine and then the other, they do have a very long rotation time, whereas you can kind of go through your base a bit more efficiently. So that's going to be kind of the idea. Neither player really has a close TC that protects the gold mine, so playing for that can make sense. You do have the hunt on the right side with that TC, so you do have an option of going for rush TCs as Isis, as specifically Gaia as well. Both love adding those TCs, but these TCs aren't in amazing positions, so they will be weaknesses potentially. As we've seen many times, adding a TC that's in a really bad spot, you kind of have to then play around it versus like God TCs that protect a bunch of resources and make your game safer. Here, it's going to make you more exposed.
Do you think?
No.
Now, I've talked about like a really defensive village center before, where you put it in your main base. But do you think if the best option is to get a good town center, but you don't have the settlement available, that it's ever worthwhile moving out of your base to drop a village center on, like, say, on a hunt pack or in a gold mine? Specifically in this matchup. Or is that too crazy?
Maybe. Well, because this matchup can default to some like 2TC heroics, right? Like,
Yeah.
because it can go to that. Maybe. But I feel like those village centers, to me, whenever I play with them, they are just such a big weakness, right? It's the easiest thing to attack. It's the easiest thing to punish. Like, it never feels like it's this, oh, this game-winning move I did. It's, oh, here's this big, tantalizing, bodacious activity I've made for my opponent to come hit, and then they just come kill it. And it's not even as good as a normal TC, right? Like, it's just, like, you're not even up an eco as much as you'd like, right? Maybe if village centers were, like, cheaper than a TC, like an actual proper settlement, to compensate for the fact that they're so much weaker, right? But they train vills slower. I mean, you can age up with them at the same rate, right? But they train vills slower. They have way less HP, less garrison slots even, I think. So, I don't know. I'm just not sold on them even being good right now.
All right, I'll pack it up. Maybe we'll see it at some point. But
I mean, I do have to respect, boy. You have brought it up in every single set today, and I have to respect the hustle, right? Just like I brought up Anubites.
I want to see Anubis. I want to see village centers. I just want to see these weird things that we don't get to see very much. We got Bars, we got Oceanas, we got nothing new here. We've seen all this before, but Magic is already out on his second hunt. It's spotted by Mr. The difference here in this game versus all the other Egyptians that Mr. has is no shifting sands. So if Magic does want to grab that town center behind him, he can simply just do it. Heroize some citizens, no problems. Deal with the Sphinx, no problems. You're all good to go. You've already got the free 2 citizens as well. It doesn't actually look like Magic's going for that fast second town center at the moment, though. He might be dropping a military building and doing something else first.
Can it be my turn to repeat something we've talked about a lot? Where's the monkey relic? Because we've determined that is...
The monkeys are there, right in front of you.
That is not the monkey relic, though. We all know. Come on. Come on. This is like... everything to me. Oh, no. Okay. Well... no one can win this game. This is it. This is the last game of Age of Mythology. It's going to go on infinitely.
This is some vintage. This is some vintage ISIS opening from TheMista.
Yeah, right.
A little history lesson for those of you who don't know Age of Mythology very well. There was a player back in like 2009-ish, well, up to 2015, by the name of Magyar. He now goes by Vizichachi. He's a pro League of Legends player, but he developed the early priest harassment sort of aggression to deny town centers and give the ISIS players some advantage early. And it's absolutely wild to see that strategy is somewhat still alive and well in TheMista. He was one of the players that had to play against it back in the day, and he still goes, we're going to just get forward and see what's going on. But the turn we're on the way. Mista's going for a second town center. It's not going to be able to be denied. It's not the best town center. We see the Carnivore, but too little too late, as the Pharaoh going to be able to deal with that one. And that's it.
Yeah, kind of a jank situation as the Thermocom as well, but piece goes up and it's just kind of like, well, what did that really accomplish? Idles some vills, idles the TC a bit, but to what? I'm not really sure. I always see that from players, and I gotta ask you, do you like that use of Carnivora? Just to damage the TC? Like, it does force repairs later if the player wants to keep it up. If there's,
I only like it if you got full vision on the town center before it starts, and then you put it up calculated. Like you go, I'm going to put it up at 200 HP or 300 HP, and it's going to deny the town center. But we see Magic here. He's going to be getting himself that second town center coming up, and he's going to be chasing in a way. But to be completely honest, it doesn't really matter if Gaia is chasing ever so slightly behind an Egyptian second town center. It's completely fine to be in this position for Gaia. You're
probably ahead still.
You're probably
right. Because of
not
how
probably
good...
he is ahead still.
Yeah, he's still ahead, right? He's got all the eco tech, so he's feeling really solid, right? Probably a
Yeah.
lot of the eco techs. You get a lot of them, Gaia, right?
Yeah.
Does he have? Do you think he has heroic ecos yet?
I
I don't
don't
know. I
think so.
didn't
Not with
check.
the terma that has come out.
Not with the Terma, right? So probably not.
Oh,
Oh,
he does.
he
There you
does. Yeah. So
go.
he's
Never
he's
mind.
ahead. He's just ahead.
Magic has been following the fundamentals. He's watched the series. He knows how important you get economic upgrades first, and you get your military upgrades, get your town centers. You're all good to go. Perfect.
A lot of vills on berries here because, like we were talking about those TCs, right, Boy? There's no safe food, and you could go onto the goats maybe, and that is one of the key differences between these two TCs. Is one had the hunt, but I don't know. It didn't really seem like it was possible to approach that anyways. The Sphinx completely unupgraded. The first upgrade coming in though.
Yeah, these Sphinx are going to be the challenge to deal with, right? Like,
Mhm.
what is Mister's big plan? He's always got a grand scheme going for him in these games. What is he going to go for? This game, Sphinx, Ancestors Eclipse, huge timing on a second gold mine. Magic's already out on his second gold mine. This is the hallmarks of veterancy in Age Mythology. How do you lose the game? You lose it by getting gold starved. How do you give yourself a little bit more time in order to stay alive? Well, you get map control, you move out onto the second gold mine nice and early, and then your home gold mine gets to last a little bit longer. Mister, he's very smart. He's already going to be having ideas of checking this one. You kind of give it away a little bit with the Gaia Lush, but I don't think that Mister's going to be able to get too much damage here. Nephthys is on the way. We're going to be seeing Thea coming through very, very shortly. Just need to get that armory or market up. Sphinx come through. Villagers garrison in. And the Terma here to say g'day.
Yeah, but we do have Nephthys coming in as well. So Ancestors Eclipse going to be an option soon. It is tricky to deal meaningful damage against citizens a lot of the time, simply because there are so many garrison spots for them to hide away. But if they're like isolated, like on this gold mine, you can just beat it down, right? You can just take out the manors, right?
Yeah, well, there's the Ancestors Eclipse, and he's going to be greeted with a handful of hero Terma. He's got to retreat away. Villagers just simply going to be garrisoning. He can take the manors down. That's totally true, but that's a lot of time to be spent to do that. The hero citizens are available to start shanking away.
Better to fight the Oracle? Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess this is buying some time, but this is not the damage I think Mista was looking for yet. We'll see. Idling the gold is nice. There's some... Oh, hold on. These vills are stuck. There's no way out of here. Why are they on that side of the wood line? Definitely not Magic Content, especially when he still has Gaia for to be getting. The Terma gonna get hunted down as well. So much damage now. Ancestors, though, only 15 seconds remain. Is this enough from that combo?
I mean, to be completely honest, you've idled 4 villagers for this time. 4 citizen. You killed 2 citizen.
It's good.
This isn't a lot of damage. Like, there's 3 citizen you killed. That's a heroic and a classical age god power gone. And Magic's now going to be able to make a ton of Contaris, but we do see behind this, Osiris wants to come through. We were talking about the grand scheme that Mister's got cooking. Double Migdol strongholds through Osiris. Mummies are insanely good in this game in combination with Osiris. But Magic is going to be able to go for these mass Contarius, and Mister, I don't know if he's going to have the time to get Osiris out and get Camel Riders out, get his Desert Winds tech out, and be able to deal with these Contarius, which are going to be coming for him very, very quickly.
Why not Prosperity like right now? Oh, there it is. Okay. There it is. I was a few seconds too hasty. Mista had a plan. Maybe he was waiting for text that I missed or something. I don't know. Interesting. The Contarius are going to find the raid.
Yeah, they're going
It's going to be really devastating, actually. If he spots the Woodvilles here, oh no, the TC's there, but one Ville down instantly.
So strong. He doesn't get the other one though. Does manage to pop off on that position. He's going to be looking into the main base for more stuff, but the chariots are out.
Ballistics on the way as well, but not in yet.
Just building some
can run.
Yeah, Magic's building some Arcus here, so he's not going for that Mass Contarius push. I don't know if this actually will give Mister some time here to play with.
Well, Osiris is on the way. Poseidon's Secret just finished. We're gonna see Arcus as the answer here, or Arcus is the plan, I guess, which kind of makes sense, but I guess we're going to be seeing that against Chariot, Osiris, and Mummies. Is that the plan? Just a big range mass, no frontline at all? Maybe camels will be coming into play later. Magic had a lot of success with camels earlier. That was the thought.
Well, I mean, the weird thing right now is just how. Well, I guess it's not that weird because Ancestor Eclipse did delay the economy a little bit from Magic, but Mr.'s economy is stonking here. He is playing this incredibly well. Third town center for Magic. We've been seeing him do this consistently where he's going, I don't want the fast tech. I'm hanging out in the Heroic Age. We're going to make Heroic Age happen here, and I'm going to try and get value. Whereas Mr. skipping that Heroic Age, kind of yet again, this is kind of the second time that he's doing this in this series. We'll see if we can convert on this spot, but Magic's got to be thinking, where's the units? Something's got to be coming. There's so many resources that should have been spent on stuff for the moment, and Magic's just not able to spot it. But he's going for the bottom town center.
And we'll see what Mr.'s response is, because he still has some idle vills there, I think, in the TC. He's going to have to defend this somehow.
I'm loving the double raid right now. This is really big because now Mr. has to move his chariot archers down to the bottom, which means there's not a ball of chariots at the top, which does allow those Contarius to get a lot of value here. Mr. going to have to garrison into that Migdol stronghold.
Yeah, these Contarius are just so solid against chariots early on like this. Before that big mass and without that big mass. The chariots, though, a big fight on the left. Osiris coming in as well. Where is that? Where is he? We're not sure.
Son of Osiris would have been
right there, right in the middle. Right in the middle of the screen. And now
what do you do with your Magic? You can't really take this
he's
fight
going
anymore.
for full Arcus. We've seen Arcus do okay here. If Gaia has a better economy, you can just make mass Arcus and just try and poke down Osiris over time. But this isn't a situation where there's no economy on the side. Like this is not some sort of weird all-in, right? Like, Mr. has a decent eco.
Yeah, Mr. does have it. He's been on 2 town center for so long. Town center coming up. There's a mummy already in position to get a little bit of that vomit.
Upgraded
over
mummy.
onto the, yeah, of course, you got to get that quick. This is something Mister's been talking about a little bit. It's if you get 3 mummies out or 4 mummies out and you just kind of leave him there and you wait for that second Eclipse usage, it's only 90 favor. So you get a mummies with Eclipse is probably more strong than Ancestors with Eclipse. Not probably. It's more strong than Ancestors with Eclipse because you get kind of minions from it. You do see a little
that
monument getting spotted here. Gonna be able to snipe. That's a lot of resources going down the drain there. Big mistake from Mr. to place it out into that location and Magic gets some value.
Some value from these Contarius raids. The mummy does this thing but kind of misses. The Osiris just takes out some myth units right away. And the Arcus have to retreat. This raid doing such a good job here. And we do see that monument being empowered. I think that's been the idea, right? Is these monuments are getting deleted and rebuilt in the right in strategic locations.
There's the one thing here that Mr. knows is impossible to play around to some degree. If not for this one thing, is implode. Implode on his army here is going to be brutal. So he has to stick on these monuments and or split his army up, which he doesn't really want to do either of those things playing against Gaia. Problems for Magic going to be starting to arise though, in that he does need to secure a corner of the map. He does need to start thinking about where to next. He's getting a palace up onto that right gold mine. He's trying to go up to the next age. Mr. here, he's got nearly full population. He's going to start being able to push. He's got a catapult or a siege works ready to start producing catapults out to siege this town center down. There is a lot of time here to have to wait for Atlas to come through. Implode's going to be on the way, but Monument to the Pharaoh is on the front. Mr. is doing
see the protection, right?
Great.
But on the right side, he was able to get that palace up, Magic was, right? Which is going to be really useful here. I don't know. It's like, it's interesting, right? Like, Mista had this crazy timing and then didn't really get a lot done, right? Like, he didn't deal any meaningful damage, right? Like, after the Ancestors, I'm talking about the Mythic timing here, right? He got Mythic into what here? So he's got Osiris on the field. He's got the mummies. It's kept him kind of in the game, right? But well, not kept him kind of in the game. He's still very much so in the game. It's just like I just feel like we're gonna have that Gaia moment soon. As good as Osiris is in the late game.
Well, yeah, he's going to have that second Pharaoh out as well, right, from Osiris. So he's empowering on the front. So there will be no implode, I guess. You know, if you push
If you
forward,
place on your own TC.
if you snipe the Pharaoh and then you click it as another option, that's got to be the play here though for Magic. I mean, he's not going to know that he can't click it just yet, but Implode's going to be in soon. Town Center, he's getting repaired.
Oh, a little sloppy there from Mist. They're going to be losing a mummy probably. Oh, just barely keeping him alive.
You have to also remember he's getting that healing.
Healing,
What's
yeah.
the Citizens doing?
Interesting. So this TC going to go down pretty quickly here, and now we're starting to see the value of this positioning. Everything that Mist has built up for is this moment. Camel's going to be the next upgrade, but look at the size of the army from Recon. Is this enough mummies? I'm not quite sure. Implode is an option.
I think Magic's playing.
What did I just say?
Recon is a
Oh
bit
my
long
gosh,
day.
sorry. Oh no, oh no. I'm just so
Recon.
used to it. My bad, everybody. Magic, Jesus. I'm getting into the game, okay, guys? I'm in the game. All right, okay, all right. I see the chat. Everyone's playing it. All right. My bad.
Here's the
Magic
thing. There's so many
is a lot of
resources for Magic, and I mean, if he loses the town center, he's still got 235 population. So, I mean, what's the plan here? Get himself all his upgrades, use that economic lead that he's built to make something happen. He's charging in onto the back here to try and take out these monuments. A monument to the gods looks like
Hold on,
going up.
this could be a problem. Implode could be cast here in a moment. I think. What's the range? We're gonna rush up a monument, and the range is still insane.
It's not gonna happen.
This is nuts. He's just holding the middle. Implode does come down though, right before Empower could. How many
And
mummies?
he gets all of them. He gets all of them. And the Son of Osiris comes in as well. He gets the big one. And where does the Son of Osiris get flung to? The Contaris need to charge in and take
but
this
here's
out.
the army. So many mummies go down.
Mystery is still at full population, Winston.
Not much died. Osiris is still in the back here. The Arcus finally finding their shot against him. Osiris has to kite backwards potentially, but the Osiris getting so much damage in. The mummies as well. The Argus comes forward. The mercenaries come out. The camels are upgraded and on the front line. Osiris just gets taken down just like that. But at what cost has Magic lost the whole fight here on the front?
It doesn't even, he gets the Son of Osiris, but the army is still there. But while this is going on the left side of the map, Magic is getting his town center back. We see a Fire Siphon pushing forward onto the left side of the map. Magic has also started a trade route while this is all going on, so he has a little bit more economy pushing through. The problem is, how is he going to be able to deal with this late game ISIS army moving forward in this gun?
Yeah, Osiris has been taken down though. It was a really expensive case, but I think it was a really necessary moment there. Plenty of catapults though in this central position. That town center is going to go down. The fortress is going to go down. The Migdal, is going to go down. The Tarius, though, on the way. The repairs actually isn't going to be enough. There's an army of minions defending this. The mummies have clearly done their job. Oh my gosh, this is a crazy game.
It's absolutely insane. I think Mr. can actually. I think Mr. should be canceling that mummy and just going up to 90 favor for another eclipse at this stage. He's got so many, and now Mr. says, "All right, time to take all the gold mines and take the game here." This is the classic way to just stamp your opponent out of the game. You take all the gold, you take both corners of the map, and you say, "What are you gonna do now?"
Wow, this is crazy. The Hero Arcus, though, moving forward, they're going to look for those shots on the mummies. Magic looking for blood, but his Cantarius just fighting into the camels. The Arcus haven't taken a shot yet. They finally decide to take a shot. Now the Sphinx getting some AoE damage as well. The Camels forcing Magic back. Is he just taking off a little bit too much here? I'm not sure. The minions run forward. Magic going to be able to finally clear those up. But on the left side, even the gold's getting taken out. The mummy's going to find the citizens. And that's going to become some minions.
Are you kidding me? They do so much damage. And he gets 4 minions from it as well. Oh, brutal.
Carries
while
the
that
Camels
happens-
out of position. Catapults as well. A force to see gonna get taken by Mista. Magic though, as he overextended, the Kantari is gonna get completely wiped up. More mummy viziers on the front.
We are seeing a bit of a tech switch here, though, from Magic. He's finally kind of realizing that Kontari is not the best option into these camels, and now he's going to start getting some catapulties out. That's going to clean up those camels incredibly fast. The Mummy sips still beautiful control from Mista. He is staying well and truly away from those hero Arcus of Magic, and he has got the 4th town center. He's got 280 population. Hasn't started that trade route just yet, but I don't think it matters. He's got so much stuff here to hold. I don't know what else Magic can do. He's constricted. He's got no trade route remaining. There's a mid dog coming down on that left side there as well.
Yeah.
And
no trade.
Magic's chances at winning this game are going down very, very quickly.
No gold. No gold. He's got no gold. Where's he going to get gold? He can't. There's none. He's just got some traders which are all about to die. The caravans don't really have a good route. They lost. They lost the Silk Road.
You go for a chemo trade route and go for the top corner of the map, but I mean that's so lackluster.
The llama and the citizen in the corner. They're like trying to remake a Disney movie or something. Trying to find a way out of here, man. They didn't. Plot twist. They didn't.
Magic, there's one more chance here for Magic. He's got himself 180 population staring down 280 population. It's 100 pop difference. The only way he's able to get out of this situation is if he gets an army that can trade 1 to 2. And maybe that army is catapulties. And he's going for a whole bunch of Arcus. And now we see Desert Winds coming. I thought Desert Winds was already in for the Mista. It's a late Desert Winds, but it's finally through. And then those camel riders, they start hurting.
He's been spreading his favor on the mummies, right? But I think now he's content with the backline he has. The hero Arcus are here. A big mass of them. But just fight with the humans first. There's not enough catapultes there to really do much damage to these camels at all. The mummies are going to step forward, but only for a moment. The Arcus are going to force them back. And back they go. But now the chariots have their time to shine against the Arcus, which are busily trying to focus down other targets instead of shoot the camels that are hitting them in the face. Magic. Is he in trouble? Looks like he is a desperate last stand. The citizens get pulled. Frontline, briefly there as the camels get taken out. But the reinforcements from this so dominant. The position is so brutal. And the final sliver of the map in his control. Magic has to be wondering what he did wrong.
You just have to look at it. You just have to go. This was
a game.
This was just a masterpiece.
A masterpiece.
A masterpiece. He had. I mean, he played around Implode better than I think anyone's ever played around Implode in their entire life. Magic,
and it still got a good Implode though. That was still a decent Implode.
I mean, was it? Like, I mean, yes.
I mean,
yes,
a lot of units got caught into it.
Don't get me wrong. He sucked up all the units. But at the end of the implode, it was 242 population or something, and he had 250 max. So it's like at that stage, the longer the game goes on, the worse these sort of destructive army god power, killing god powers get. And then also you have to remember that he had that healing coming in on his monument. So those units, they all take some damage, and they're all going to come back up to full HP after, I don't know, a short amount of time just sitting underneath the monument. So. Yeah, Magic used it. He traded Implode. He killed off a Son of Osiris for it. So in a way, that's a trade of a Mythic Age God Power for a Mythic Age God Power. But
he also traded his whole army for Osiris there.
Exactly. He traded his whole army to kill the Son of Osiris.
30 Arcus, and all the Arcus died, and Osiris fell at the very end. The hero fell, but not at it was at the cost of everything, right? He lost everything, and even gave away a lot of minions at the moment, right?
That's right.
The mummy's got a lot of value in that fight for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't.
Crazy game.
I just can't. Like, this is the second time in tournament that Mister has shown off how good monument protection, monument
Is.
empowerment is.
The
And
radius gets really absurd when it's empowered,
yeah,
right? It gets like really big. Is it too big?
I'm not.
I don't
If
know.
it's too big, and the Mister is the only one in the entire world that can make a use of it, then I think we give it to him because
Okay, fair
that's
enough. Fair enough.
like, who else does this? Who else does this?
Mhm.
But in the
Let's
end,
see.
this
Next
series,
game.
these two players, it's always close between Magic and the
Mhm.
Mister. It's always close.
Close. Oh, here it is. That was the
Here's the
aftermath of
replay.
the implode. And you
Look
can
at the
see here, he's going to
245,
commit
200,
everything.
and everything's getting healed up while this
Yep.
fight's going on. The mummies are all available, and like the Son of Osiris is just, it's massacring all of
Arcus.
those dryads, and there's just minions, mercenary.
Yeah, you can see he's focusing it down without the Arcus, but at what cost, right? Everything dies. And
Yeah.
then the mummies come up, and look at the number of minions spawning right now. It's like crazy. It's so crazy. Boom! We get it again and
It's a
again. It's
big
like
boom.
living in my head rent free. Do it again. One more time. Oh, there it is. Boom!
Just for chat,
Oh,
I think
man.
the monument heal rate is one HP per second. So it's not a crazy amount, but if all your units are damaged and you have, let's say you've got 50 units, now it's suddenly 50 HP a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting. Is it a lottery wherever or all the units go? Like,
Yes.
because the Osiris went as close to the TC as possible, right? And it's like, if the Osiris had gone the other way, that would have been crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'm somewhat surprised Magic didn't rush in, because the Son of Osiris, while it did kind of get sent back, if he rushed in straight, if he not, it's kind of hard to know the timing of how implode works. You're kind of risking getting sucked into it, but if you kind of
Yeah.
time it right, you can rush in your Contarius as the implode will refuse to suck any other units in, and then you can just be hunting the Son of Osiris. And if you get like 10 Contarius around the Son of Osiris, that's not an army getting traded for a Son of Osiris. That's not even one Contarius getting traded. That's just a dead Son of Osiris.
These players are so good that, like,
They are so
we were
good.
talking about it at the start of the series, right? It's those little details, right? Are you telling me that this game was won or lost off the back of the direction Osiris went? Probably not.
Maybe.
I think the position for Mista was really, really solid, but still, like, think about how different it would have been if Magic kills the Osiris for free because it goes to the north and all the Arcus just insta kill him and he's alone, right? Like, think about how different that game could feel if he kept his army alive after implode, right?
I don't know if I can think about anything
You
anymore,
can't think about
Winston.
that?
Right now, we're moving into game
Boy, come on.
number 4. It's Thor versus Odin on
Marsh.
Marsh. Magic, he's shown how dominant he can be on Thor
Mhm.
on a defensive map.
Mista hates
Against
this
Fred.
map too on Marsh. He doesn't like it. Not because he's bad at it, but he just doesn't like it. He doesn't like the map.
It's the color of the terrain, isn't it? It's too green. There's too much greenery for him.
I think it's the way. I think it's the layout for him actually, in the food in the middle. Too much. That's what he said. But Odin's going to be really solid here, gathering a lot. It's the color.
It's the color.
He is an aesthetic space person, right?
That's right.
Famously doesn't love Atlantean because they're aesthetic. He told me that one. That's a fun one. Oh
Look,
man, Marsh.
Marsh
Do you
is
think
a
we'll get the
Marsh.
monkey
That's what
relic
it
on
is.
Marsh?
Well, you got a high chance. There's 6 relics. I
That's
mean,
what I'm
what can't
saying.
you-
We got about
What
the
can't
odds
you
are
love
looking up,
about
and
it?
we
What
didn't
can't you
get
love
it
about
last
Marsh?
game.
You get infinite hunt. You get infinite relics. You've got water. You've got tower. You got everything you need. It's a beautiful map. Like, the only thing that I can possibly see that's bad
Mhm.
about Marsh is the greenery. Okay,
But
we'll drop it.
But no, I
Winston,
like. It's like gambler's fallacy, though, right? It's like there's 6 relics here, and we didn't get the relics. We didn't get monkeys last game or the game before, so we're due. Right. We're due for monkeys this game. For Monkey Relic.
Mm.
That's how this works, right? The game keeps track of that, surely. Fate, maybe. The Fates? No. To keep it mythological? No.
Well, I think that the game should keep track of it. If I had X relic in the game before, I shouldn't be able to get that relic in my next game. I think that. So, do you know anyone on the dev team that could write these notes down? You know, we've got some great ideas here. Just
There's nobody. No, none here.
no one's in the office.
Not on a Sunday.
All right. We're going to be moving into a game of Thor versus Odin on Marsh. It's game number 4. We've been seeing these players going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They're going to, by the end of this day, they will have played potentially a best of like 11 or 12 or 13 here, but we're currently spawning in. We've got Magic spawning on the right side of the map in the red color, opening up with the Dwarven Armory, only available to his god Thor. Magic is here. His opponent currently up 2-1. He's been throwing some insanely good strategies at Magic in this series. Now he's on Odin. It's TheMista. Map Marsh. Is this the weird layout you've been talking about? Or is this a nice one? It's a bit on the odd side. It kind of looks like a little bit of a turtle sort of thing going on. I don't know what I'm seeing on the mini map there.
It looks like a bow tie.
A bow tie. That's also, yeah. Turn your head to the right a little bit.
And to the left. No, to the left.
To
It's
the
a
left,
bow tie.
yeah.
Oh, but now it's an hourglass.
There we go. That's
No,
fair.
I
We've got
meant
an
the
hour.
other way. If you tilt it
Oh,
90
your other
degrees to the
left.
right, it's a bow tie.
Yeah.
Right?
That's beautiful.
That's a bow tie. That is a bow tie. I'm telling you. Or it's one of those pasta
It's a
shapes.
butterfly.
Oh, a butterfly. That's beautiful.
I've got animals on my mind. I don't know why.
I got monkeys on my mind.
Let's take a look at
I
the
know
relics.
why.
We've been hyping up this monkey relic here. Do we have anything nice? We got the Sister Rift Bars. That's a pretty good relic there with the
That's a very nice one.
resource cost reduction. The Canopic
No.
Giant Imseti. Infantry train faster. It's pretty
Useless.
important in this
No,
matchup,
no,
in all
it's not
honesty.
useless.
Gambitine Ode 1. I don't know if there's anything really to grab. Blue Crystal Shard,
Ooh.
that's going to be huge there for
That's good.
Magic on his side of the map.
Yeah.
Maybe Mr. will try and prioritize
And
that.
put those dwarves. Ooh.
Farms being cheaper on a map like Marsh is a little bit like LOL. And unfortunately, no monkey relic at the end of. We can
On
cry
Marsh.
about it.
Right. So we're due next game. Next game. Put it all on the line. I'm betting. Betting big. The mortgage, the house, the kids, all of it. I have none of those things. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. We got a game here. Thor. We've seen Thor just be so dominant.
Yeah, you got all the advantage going
Mhm.
to the start of the game, just on the Dwarven Armory, and you get armory upgrades, you get extra dwarves out, but it's been slowed down. So this should mean that there's more counterplay available, whether that's on early game raids, or if that's on early game greed, or if that's on early game tech. Any sort of just playing into something really hard here to kind of punish the delayed advance time from the Thor player, as Magic gets his temple up. He's still a ways away from advancing.
Yeah.
This is a fast advance for a Mister. Are you kidding? Wait, is it? No, it's a 4. It's a 345. Okay, so it's slightly in front of the curve. Slightly in front of the curve.
Mhm. You saved the
Normally you see 4-minute advances from Norse. But
yeah. He squeezed out an extra second there. It is tricky though, because with Norse, when you age up, you need to do something. Right? You need to build, and you can't build if you don't have anything. So this is really just a timing for that Valkyrie, right? Everything else is kind of gonna be a normal time, right? You can't really get so fast that your RC are surprising someone, right? It just doesn't quite work that way when you have to build with 1 unit and it takes so long. We'll see. The Valkyrie on the field now, looking for some damage. We could see a cheeky forest fire to deal damage, but you normally don't cast that before. Doesn't quite work anymore. I see.
well,
Mr.
Mr. gets a
looking
little
for
unlucky with his Valkyrie positioning here, not going down to the
Forest fire
bottom.
on
We
the
do see
south.
the forest fire though.
Oh, he saw how safe that gold was with the tree and with the forests. I don't know why I said the tree. With the forest kind of blocking it and protecting it, he just wanted to open that up and really make sure that in order to get wood, he has to go to the front. And you can see the dwarves going to have to be building on the front there to get
I
the
mean,
wood.
funnily enough, it does actually do something significant here. This build order from Magic it's so tight. He can't afford a building here. He's only able to build Herser. He's got to wait for
Yeah.
the resources to get himself out of Longhouse and a Great Hall. So in terms of tempo, that's on Mister's side right now. And Magic, he's only got chickens in his base. Wait, does he have any? Is there any other
Double
food in his
Great
base?
Hall.
I don't know. Double Great
This is
Hall.
Odin, baby. We're going. We're gaming. We are Odin gaming, and this is how it feels. Who got the relic in the middle, by the way? The gather
I
rate.
think all the relics went the wayside of the Mista.
Mista. So Mista got. Okay, so he got that. He got the crystal shard. Okay, it was that one, not relic. Okay, no, not that one.
All the important ones.
Interesting.
No
Yeah, that's-
farming. No cheaper farms yet, though.
We'll see if it comes into play. Like you said, it's a high hunt map, and you got Odin, so you don't have to prioritize like your timings with that. Like Herseer, like we were talking about, they have so many roles at the start of the game. They have so much they need to do that going for a relic that isn't going to offer immediate value can often be a trap. The Valkyrie going to gladly trade away some HP against the Herseer.
I love that. I love that decision from Magic there. He had his Herser trapped, and he decides to just go, all right, I'm just going to whack the Valkyrie, bring another Herser in, and Mister kind of goes, I don't want to sack my Valkyrie here for a Herser, and he retreats out, and that opens the Herser to allow him to retreat back, and now he's got the Healing Spring, going to get back up to full HP.
And so now we're at a critical moment, right? Like, the economy on paper, and not just on paper, in all regards, is better for Magic, right? But on the side of this, Mista does have Hunt in the middle of the map. That is a huge difference. So his gatherers in the center of the map are super valuable. And in terms of food, there's not much. Like, there's a couple chickens left, and then things are going to run out for Magic, right? Like, there's one chicken left, and then a couple piggies.
Well, he does have the Aurochs down the other side.
He got killed.
I
mean,
it's
still there.
it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but you can. I have to assume you can defend it. Watchtowers are going to be up.
That's going to be helpful, yeah.
And Magic
Meanwhile,
here, he's under a lot of pressure. This is the tempo situation. We've seen Mister getting into this spot quite a bit and being able to run away with it.
The troll, what's he doing? Oh, he goes down every time here, 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And down he goes for basically for free. It looks like he got baited by the throwing axeman. I think Magic clicked on it. And
Magic is being a little bit sneaky right now on that right side. He's about to get spotted by a Berserk as the Raven is flying overhead. You can't get away with anything against Mister, and let alone just Mr. Odin Mister, where he gets those Ravens. He's so active with him. He's always moving him around. You're never going to be able to spot anything.
Yeah, it's really tricky to play against Odin in this position, right? Because you desperately need to go out on the map for things. Like, even soon your gold is going to run out. And we could be in such a desperate position. Do we have to get a classical cast here of Dwarven Mine? Like,
I don't actually think it's a terrible idea. I don't think it's a terrible idea just to do this normally. But I don't want to be risking going onto a gold mine at this point.
Right?
I'm playing for the villager lead that I've gotten and the delayed advance time. So the longer the game goes, the more my villager lead starts to matter. But Magic is he's taking dwarf losses.
Everything's idle. Everything's idle, boy.
Everything's idle.
No one's
don't matter.
working.
Villager lead doesn't matter if everything's idle.
Villager lead, villager Schmied, and still, okay, I was about to say still holding the Dwarven Mine, but using it now. Because, like, we're in a desperation time. Going to go for that TC under the vision here, and I'm curious to see what the response is from Mista. Does he just send all the boys? He has a huge army in the north here, and a lot of his units are going to get caught up building that TC. And if all the units are here, that means there's nothing protecting the Dwarven Mine in the middle of the base. Where's the rest of Mista's army going? I'm not sure he has enough here to really deny this. The Throwing Axeman, though, going to come in and try and take some chip damage, pull the units away, find some value. Bonk, bonk goes the troll. And the Throwing Axeman gets taken down, and the TC's going to go up, but it doesn't protect all that much. It's kind of one of those no man's land TCs. The villas have to get to somewhere in order to be valuable. And this is going to be another sink for the food and gold of Magic. What's he going to spend? Like, what do those vills do right now? What do vills do for him?
They get him. Okay, I'm stretching here because I don't think they get him very much. They get him more bills, which means you can throw a market down, and then you can sell food and wood.
He's building farms on this
Get
TC.
that relic. Does he have that tar relic? It's the cheaper dude to read. The
No,
cheaper
he
farms.
doesn't. It was on the
Oh,
bottom
no.
left. It's still there. It's the central one. The mine's about to run out. Now he will be able to go to the left, but I think Mystic can just punch this new TC in the face. That fresh farm that just got built is going to get demolished here. I don't even think he cares about the TC. He can just go for the main.
Well, I mean, yeah. There's nothing.
Maybe-
There's nothing
it's
over
going to be
there.
a crazy fight. The troll
Most
could
of this
bonk
is just
bonk.
infantry. There's so many throwing axemen out for the Mister here, and the troll.
Yeah.
That's
This
going to be
is
huge.
crazy.
But now the town center is just going to get cleaned up, and that's just gone. Well,
Wow.
not quite.
Actually, no.
Magic is poking out.
Yeah, Magic playing with fire here. He's going to get a troll hit. Nope. I heard him getting kited down low.
On autocast. Berserk's going to come down to push those raiding cavalry away, but in doing that, he opens up his throwing axe. Magic's doing a good job of staying alive at the moment, but is he out of gold? He's got 0 on gold at the moment. The throwing axemen are retreating underneath the healing spring here, as now diving through the town center. That's a very, very nice retreat as the Berserks have pushed back the other units, but he's still got to retreat back on the other way, and sooner or later this town center of Magic, it's going to fall. And that's all the villages in the middle going to fall as well.
Oh, I'm trying to run with the Berserks and the Gatherers. They're not going to find their way out of this one. The TC's going down. Now, Magic did find the gold on the left, but with so many units going down for free, that TC investment did absolutely nothing for him. Even his 4 farms were built there, so they just get taken out instantly. And now, Mista content, he can play this however he wants, right? I think he's going to be backing up. He can play slow, he can play fast, he can do whatever. He is in the driver's seat in this match. I don't see what Magic does. I honestly don't. He's going to try and wall off this side here, but here come the RC. The Valkyries leading the charge. He's got 5 of them now. That's quite a big force. They are so tanky, and with the tech coming in as well, they get super durable. Oh, this feels hard for Magic.
Yeah, Magic has found himself in a very, very tough position. I mean, he's got
wood.
I guess the advantage of playing defensive is you can go for a lot of herdmen to hold on, whereas your opponent has to go for the raiding cavalry to run around. But
Those Vils on the south are playing with fire.
Mr.
Mr. does not know, so they're going to get away with it, unless Mr. for some reason loops.
Do you see a couple of trolls joining in onto the fight? Somehow there is still a villager lead for Magic though. Not that it's mattered because there's been so much idle time for Magic, but somehow he's got a villager lead here. And now Mr. is doing a classic Mr. He's coming in onto the both of the flanks. The Herman kind of getting put out there. Mr.'s got to, Magic's got to do something here. He's got to convert villagers or get those dwarves to do something. The Herman onto the back now getting some great damage onto those raiding cavalry. Population here though for Magic is plummeting.
Well, actually, the fight doesn't look too bad for Magic on the back end of this. The Herdman did so much. The Valkyries are kind of the only cav that remains. The troll hits come in and bonk, bonk. The villagers, though, the dwarves going to be the last man standing for Magic. Only a few herdmen remain. They're not dealing enough damage to those Valkyries. With the upgrade, they're dealing so much damage, and down goes Magic. It's to up another game in this series.
That was such a solidly executed game from TheMista. I think Magic, I don't know what went wrong with his build, but he's just on the back foot from so long. And honestly, as much as I like to say early forest fires, no good, I think in this situation, that forest fire actually did a lot more damage to Magic than you might actually think. I think not being able to get himself military buildings down as soon as he hits the classical age made all the difference here. And from that little tiny moment, Mr. just extracts max value and claims the victory.
It was insane, right? So much value from so little. We even saw it from the start there, just like you said, with the forest fire, with the first Valkyrie. And I think that's one of the hallmarks of of what makes Mista's play so special, and so incredible to watch a lot of the time is like the amount of value he gets from just that first unit is insane.
Oof, I mean, there's so many things to dissect about that, right? Like, I think you mentioned it, boy, particularly the vision control for Mister and the way he leveraged it, right? And when you're in a Norse v Norse matchup, you're gonna have to play onto that map, and that I think is where quite often the Odin Ravens are just that cherry on top.
Well, yeah, I mean, he talks about this himself. It's like flying myth units, even if they've got a tiny amount of line of sight, they're so good for controlling the map. All you got to do is move them around. And that's the hard part. The hard part is being like, I want to actively scout. I'm going to prioritize my APM to make this happen. And I'm going to see what you're doing. And he does it with Greek. He does it with Odin. He does it with the Oceanus as well. Like it's always a masterclass when it comes to vision and knowledge for the Mister. And you saw it in that game as a prime example.
And, I want to look back at Game 3 a little because I feel like Guy has been the conundrum, Winston. A lot of players have had polarizing opinions of this. It seems to be, in a lot of people's eyes, maybe a little bit too strong. Do you think that maybe had like a hit on the morale for Magic, right? Losing that matchup? I mean, Isis, definitely no pushover in the hands of Mister, right? But Gaia's seen as the final boss. And in the late
Yeah.
game, it almost looked, I don't want to say trivial, but Mister just seemed to be very systematic about his approach to dismantling the issue.
Well, I think there was a situation there where like the early Contarius raids, they were kind of annoying, but Mista was able to wall them off and really consolidate into the center on that gold. And I think there was this moment where Magic was kind of threatening both the left side and the right side. The left side had that TC, and the right side had the Migdol with the gold, and he was kind of like jumping back and forth and causing a lot of problems. But then there was that point where Mista had like 12 chariots on the left and then a big army on the right, and he was like, "Wait, I'm mythic. Like you're not. Like I can just fight." And he just started kind of pushing forward a bit, took map control back, and as soon as he was in that center position, if any time Magic tried to do anything on the map, it was just, oh, I can rotate to there. I can rotate to there and come back. It's like, in CS:GO, there's like this logic where you want to be in the dead center of where anything can be with your crosshair, so you can quickly come back. So you kind of reset into the middle, and that's kind of what kept happening there. He's playing that dead center of the field and able to just go anywhere and come back. And I think once that changed, it was like, what can you really do? You can't rate it. And I think Magic just didn't have a great plan for when that Mythic came in. I think it kind of surprised him how fast Osiris was on the field. We once again saw that same build, double Migdol into Mythic, right? We saw the same thing again. It was almost the exact same timing, a little after 12 minutes, right? It seems to be something that Magic might just not be super comfortable playing against or seeing, because it seems like his strats against it. He went again for that third TC only to lose it moments later, right? It's tricky.
I think a little bit of a change up in the draft. If I'm not mistaken, last time it was a Kronos ban. That means, as a result, Magic able to pick it up this time. But boy,
More
looking
important.
at the remaining maps, looking at what Mister got, a lot of his signature picks in here. The Freya that we know he's very well equipped with. Magic, meanwhile, trying to take a leaf out of Mister's book with that set pick, but also going back to the Gaia again that didn't quite deliver him the game he was looking for in that third.
Well, Magic here, he's taken a very different approach to the draft. Same too for the Mister. He banned out Ra and we see Isis gone. Like Mister got his wins on the Egyptians there. That's huge. And one thing that's missing from this draft, I don't think you can wait, can you pick the same god twice? I think you can. So one
You can.
thing missing from this draft from Magic, which got him success earlier on, is that Hades.
Yeah.
So obviously he wanted the Greek for Kerlaugar. There's no water map left and no Greeks, no priority there. He's got himself his Kronos. That set is going to be potent for him as well. At the very least, keeping it away from the Mister and making the Mister scared to pick Norse gods. We've already seen how dominant the Mister is with set against Norse. So that's what Magic's idea is there, or at least the very least that seems to be. And we're going to be seeing Kronos versus Zeus on Watering Hole. KP.
That hits me right in the kidneys. I mean, it's the most comfortable pick for Mister, right? It's the one that I know you've tweeted about constantly. both of you, right? Like this is, I mean, for the dog and for the tournament potentially. Does Kronos have the teeth to bring this down, Winston?
I don't know.
I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
see this
think he
matchup
actually
that
has
often.
any teeth now that I look closer at the
Yeah,
image. But
Kronos just sort of has a purple void, I think, and
yeah.
things just get disintegrated in there. Um, I don't know. This is really awkward. I think did both players try to kind of big brain it, maybe like, and then we got kind of into a weird matchup, or
I mean,
I don't
did
know.
they try to big brain it? Like, I don't think. I think maybe there's a set expectation from TheMista, so he goes
Right?
Zeus.
Yeah,
But I
that's
don't
what I was
see what
saying.
the expectation from Magic is here. He just goes Kronos, and is this matchup? I don't know what Magic thinks here. Maybe Kronos is just really good against all of the gods that Mista has, and he's going to be comfortable going into this with whatever he's got prepped for Kronos.
Hmm. No,
I'm scared though for
yeah,
Magic.
because like I feel like Mister's got a pretty well-rounded draft here, right, Winston?
Well, the reason I'm scared is just like I still view Kronos not. I don't want to say he's one dimensional, but as a little like he's reliant a little bit on finding enough damage in certain ways. And we saw Magic get a win in an earlier set with Kronos by like a razor thin margin. He killed the Gazelle and didn't get Shifting Sands on. And without that play happening, like we're talking about a very different experience, a very different game, I think, in that previous set that they played earlier today. Whereas here, it's like, are you really trying to bank that again? I just feel like Kronos is a bit awkward, right? Like his 2TC play just seems a little bit weaker than a lot of other civs, in my opinion. And I don't know, his rush is so obvious nowadays. It's so well explored. There's a timing of it, and it just kind of happens. And it's like if you deal with the timing, you're kind of fine. And I guess you don't want to bolt the Promethean, so that's one element where I think Zeus kind of has like some question marks about how he wants to do things, but I don't know.
We've seen it already once, Winston, haven't we? How does he use the
Well,
bolt? He just drops it onto an oracle.
Yeah, that's
maybe.
true.
That's gonna slow down the favor because this
Yeah.
is where I see the matchup kind of going for the Kronos. You have to be thinking about, well, how do I deal with the myth unit spam? How do I deal with the hoplites, which are really, really strong, right? So
Favor.
you just go for a whole bunch of Prometheans. These things are going to be able to tank. You get yourself out a handful of Kyrie. We've already seen 2 hero Kyrie being very, very effectively utilized to kill off a lot of those infantry units. And you get out Mamilo to kind of tank those 2 heroes that Zeus has got. And just maybe there's a way to go. I think more often than not, Magic's plan here is to just go for a boom, don't you think?
But can't Zeus just play like Centaur Hippias and like what do you do against Centaur Hippias heroes?
Also, in the early game, Kronos is going to rely quite a bit on the Valor scaling, right, to get the heroes online. So, like, is there a world in which you just save the bolt for the first one of that, right? Then your first Centaur or Minotaur is incredibly hard for Kronos to deal with.
I don't know. You get
That's
so much
absolutely
valor.
true. You do have to remember that Watering Hole, that's a defensive map. One wall potentially shuts down a whole lot of Hippias Centaur shenanigans, and it gives the time over to the booming Kronos player to get out those hero Terma and some Catapulties, deal with that composition very easily. So it's difficult to say the very least which way these guys are going to go. But to suffice it to say, I think there's answers for everything in everyone's kit for whatever's going to come down to it. And yet again, we're going to have another sort of matchup that's going to come down to a single moment.
And then, I'm looking beyond this where we potentially end up. I'm wondering if Mister's thinking Poseidon for Ghost Lake, right? Like, he obviously has Loki there as well, but I know historically he likes to play Poseidon quite heavily into that map.
He also likes Freya on Goat Lake.
Yeah, right. So like, that the thing I'm wondering there is like, obviously Freya can do more than just go like for a boom type game, but does Magic maybe have to reserve set for Ghost Lake to block those more, should we say, defensively or greedily oriented civ picks?
Maybe. I think he has Odin for Tundra and Gaia for Ghost Lake, and maybe switches in set if Poseidon gets used on Tundra, and then he has a guaranteed Norse matchup on Ghost Lake. Maybe if that's like the order of things, maybe I don't know. I don't know. Predicting drafts is so hard, guys. It's so hard.
So it's the case that the loser picks the next map. Is that how it
Yes.
works, or is it go
Yeah.
one then? Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so right now Mister's on game point, which means that Mister gets every single map pick that he wants for the rest
Yeah.
of the series, which means he gets to decide how to like angle into
Mhm.
game 7 if there's going to be a game 7 here.
Right.
So he's going to give himself the setup to be in the best possible position. Magic, on the other hand, this Gaia in his roster, it's very good against Poseidon. Against Freyr and Loki, not so much. So it's going to be a really, really challenging god to pick. I have a feeling that Mister's going to, if he loses here, which that's a big if already, but Tundra is going to be the next map, and he's going to be able to pick either Loki or Freyr. And then he leaves open Loki and Poseidon, or Freyr and Poseidon for Ghost Lake, such that the Gaia set option for Magic starts becoming a little bit dicey. And you kind of roll the dice on which god you're going to get
Yeah, I was
to
just
see
to say,
who
that's
has
a
an
dice roll for
advantage
both
god
players, right?
matchup. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if to keep
The double blind.
to keep your breadth there, maybe Mister picks like Freyr and Tundra in that case, right?
Yeah.
Because then you have Loki or Poseidon, and that gives you kind of two polarizing game styles. And then you can kind of gauge where you think Magic's going to make his last stand, right? Because I imagine Tundra is probably thinking like Odin. I feel like he's probably going to try to save Ghost Lake Gaia. But then again, I mean, this is the other thing when your back is up against the wall like this. We've talked before about this 2-game advantage. 1 game is enough. 2 games is enough where you have to throw out every punch most powerful, right? And that can leave you
Yeah.
weaker later in the draft. That is the crazy level of advantage Mister has now built himself up here, folks. I noticed earlier today, people were like, why don't we give like the upper bracket a 1-game advantage? That's why. It is crushing what you can do with the draft. But let's see if Mister's going to be able to crush him now. Redraft complete. Potentially 3 more games to go. Can Magic make the comeback? Can he keep his dream alive, or is Mister carving himself a Retold legacy? Let's go.
And a legacy will be carved indeed. Sporting in the right side of the map on match point here. 1 game away from being crowned the Genesis Retold champion. He's playing as Zeus, and he's known as the Mister. As we see that bolt coming down straight away, we talked about it pre-game. That's the go for the Zeus. Magic now, he's got the Chronos. He's down an Oracle. He's down Scouting. He's down Favor. But he knows what's going to be coming. He knew that this was going to happen. So we'll see how he's going to adapt. Winston, the map's watering hole, and it's a defensive watering hole at that. What are you seeing?
I mean, it's a bit defensive. There's actually openings like completely on the north and south here, making yet another bow tie map. And if we take a look, that's a throwback. If we take a look also at where these golds are placed, I don't know. Both players have really good TCs.
Yeah.
So we could see somewhat of a slower game. Watering Holes tends towards slightly boomier games. But of course, Curtis is going to want to open up with some pretty heavy aggression early on, just using the time shift, using the timing of the double, usually Prometheans. I doubt we're going to see Leto here. I think that's just too risky. It is not the time to experiment, right? But we'll see. My thought process is, yeah.
Let's just say if we did see Lido, I don't think it's because it's experimentation. I think it's because it's practiced. So
I think
that's
even if you said it was practiced, it's still an experiment to just now show it. I mean, maybe that's some big brain stuff to save strats. That's the thing that players do in other RTS. I'm just not confident that players at the stage yet in this game where we're really trying to hide strats and save it for the grand final. I think you gotta win games where you can. So far, Mythology's tournament scene has been super cutthroat. Anyone can beat anyone, as we've seen earlier today. So we'll see. I mean, my thought process here, Boyd, is that Magic has to have the winner's mentality. He's got to get that dog in him, because right now, he knows he can win 3-0 against Mista. He did it earlier today. He won the 3 reverse sweep comeback. He got 3 in a row wins. He was able to do it, and I don't know. He used Chronos there, and it worked. So he's got to get that dog in him. He's got to find that muster. He's got to. I don't know. Get the spice. Get the zest. Get the hands hot. Feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Winston, it's going to be spicy. I mean, there's Bridal of
can taste it
Pegasus
from
out.
here.
This is what Mr. wants this relic, just on the fact that it's going to be giving him that scout for free to get all across the map and get him what he needs to see. Scarab Pendant not going to be that big of an influence here. I have Onlu as a big help for the Karabalista in dealing with any hoplites. Ankh of Ra, as if Zeus doesn't have faster enough favor gather rate. Here, have another 0.5. And that is all of them. But, you know, Prometheus is coming through. Was there a temple time shift at the moment? It looks like there is, and he is going to be looking for a little bit of early pressure. But Mister's already Athena, and he already knows that this is up on this top side. It seems as the Minotaur is moving up there, nice and quick.
Yeah, and the Minotaur immediately going to find some value. Already dealing some damage there. The Prometheans, it's like Magic didn't even notice initially. And so we do see some heroized citizens on the backside of this just to keep things spicy. Hercules now in position. A little bit of idle time from those Prometheans, but between the Minotaur and Hercules, it should be fine to hunt both of these down and the time shift away. As one normally does, right? It's not an all out, it's not an all in, it's just you get a little bit of tempo. And it looks like Mista's handled this just fine. He even has a hero forward denying that TC, right? Or is he now grabbing relics? I'm not quite sure. What's on the left? Yeah, that's
he's
Jason.
got a Jason over there, but is it just me, or does it look like Magic is sending villagers forward, or is that a... That's just Terma. Okay, so it's going to be a one town center approach here for Magic. I think this is probably where he's going to be somewhat most comfortable, but same too for Mista.
He's going TC, right?
Is Mista going
definitely going TC? Surely.
It looks like he's trying to, but will he be able to?
I think he needs,
with
I think he
Terma
needs
coming
to build
through.
stable, right?
Yeah.
Stable barracks, at least.
Do you see a mana coming up as Magic is setting up for a delayed second town center here? And now Mr. doesn't have the resources. He's not even close to being able to afford. This is really catching him off guard right now. Heracles in position to get some damage done. Valor getting dropped down in the main base, it seems. Not going to be getting any over there, as we are seeing what seems to be a little bit of a chase down in the main base. The Minotaur going to get sent packing there, as the Promethean Offspring is going to be able to go after those villagers. Deconstruction coming down on the stable straight away to keep that pressure coming in.
I think there's more production buildings being built on the south, though. Of the base. Oh no, that was just a granary. Oh, man, Mista's economy looks awful.
Yeah. Wait,
down bad. This is aggro.
Is he dropping a town center? No, he's not. This is going really well for Magic. He's pushed off the gold. There's still plenty of gold in the bank here for Mista, and it seems like was the Minotaur sniped down? Or is he still going after oracles? What's happening in the center of the map?
He's getting chased around. There was a hero Terma in the base, and it chased him away.
Yeah.
Another Oracle going to go down, though. Important for dealing with the favor, but there's still 21 favor in the bank.
It's going to make it to the... I think it might make it. It might make it.
This is trying so hard to nerd that out, but it's so hard to stop units in this game. They don't stop moving, right? They just kind of like slightly change course.
It's almost better to go for the snare. So you're going to slap and then move out of the way so the other unit can get you. So get in front, slap, and make it happen.
Yeah. Terma, though.
There's a villager kill for Magic. He's getting so much value out of these Terma. The thing is, though, the longer the game goes on, the worse these sort of Terma become. And Magic's going to be thinking about the next stage. And he's already getting up a second town center. Is it up? Is it finished? No, but it's going up very quickly. This will take some pressure off of the Mista, but at the moment, Mista's not going to know that town center is up, right? I mean, if you look, you can kind of take a guess when you take a look at the score.
A little bit.
There's a little bit of guesswork.
The days of old. But now he's moving to his TC?
Yeah, he's going for his own town center. He's not going to be falling for this one.
Yeah, he had the resources. Had to delay things quite a bit. Does get it up, though, and he is safe now on that side as the Terma on the far side. He's going to spot the TC now with his scout. You know how the Hippias. He's going to try and find the Terma. Which he does. They're going to run into each other. Or who finds who? A little bit of damage.
Going to be a little bit of damage here. I think the Terma and the Hippias have the same speed when it's Zeus. Poseidon is the only one that can really chase those Terma down before Spirit Charge comes through, and there's no Spirit Charge available in this one because that's through Hermes, not Athena. But now, Mista's got 2 town center. He's had a bit of a rough route there. And so far in this series, whenever Mr. has kind of been pushed off of his game plan, things tend to favor Magic moving forward, wouldn't you say, Winston?
Yeah, no, I would absolutely agree with that. Like, historically, I would say that Mista is probably one of the better players at adapting, but that definitely hasn't felt like the case here. In this set, it's definitely felt like who's opening is best. And then from there, they're snowballing, right? It's not a lot of like comebacks just yet, right? It's a lot of, in this set so far, it's just been who gets ahead and then wins. And we're going to have, what, Curse on the field pretty soon?
Well, what we're having here is a heroic edge coming through for Mr. And Magic seems to be investing into oracles right now. He's up to 4. He's gotten himself alluvial clay. I don't know if he's going to be pumping out those Prometheans, though. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense at the moment. Apollo was coming in as well.
It makes sense against the Termite. You can get the Manticore splash. It's quite good, right? And then it's also going to give him some later threats, right? He can get to that TC that he scouted. He can threaten that with just a quick underworld, right? This makes sense. I like this play. He's got the Hippias kind of in position. He doesn't have any units to send, but that's a problem for later.
What just happened on that wall? I think he was attacking the wall segment instead of the actual wall.
The corner tile. Yeah, he was attacking the little bastion and up the center. That's funny. If only he had Trojan Gate hinge.
There are a couple of Hippias just kind of checking out what's going on in Magic's base here. And we'll be seeing some villagers in the center. Those villagers can just turn around and fight, to be honest here. He's also got the Valor if he needs to.
You have that instant reaction, you garrison because you're scared, and then you realize, oh wait, 2 unupgraded Hippias. I'm not the scaredest person here. The TC's got to get spotted. I'm pretty sure this TC was already scouted, right? But we've seen this before, right? Like, Mista doesn't really need to make anything now, right? He can just chill until he's up and start making the proper counters here. He can go Hypaspis, Peltis in just a moment. And it looks like that might be his plan. A couple hoplites to frontline.
Magic is seeing this. He already kind of has an inkling in his mind, and now he's confirmed. Apollo's in. Hyperion wants to come through. It's going to be a little bit later, but because Mist hasn't built anything on the way to this, there's even more time for Magic to get the proper response out and start making some units. He does get some Current Baluster out again, which is wild. We do have a couple of cheeky little houses coming up in an attempt to path block.
Yeah. And they're nice with Chronos, right? They're siege, so you get those discounts. Things are cozy, right, for him.
Yeah, 100%. And now we see the Hyperion. It's coming through, but this gives Mr. all the time in the world, and I mean that's the scary part, giving Mr. time to construct something here.
Yeah.
There is always going to be a very scared Zeus player waiting to get imploded. That's something to be thinking about if you're Mr. And one way to play around it, or one way we've seen attempt to get player to play around it, that didn't quite work, is Underworld, trying to dive through the Underworld to get away from it.
Yeah. And here's a Pegasus as well, and that's going to be a really important tool here, right? He can use this Pegasus to scout. It doesn't get too noted. Now that is Magic's Pegasus, but there's another Pegasus being trained by Mista. And that could be a way that he uses a creative Underworld, but still very few units. He's been playing hyper macro focused, right? Just trying to get the TC, trying to get the economy sorted. There's a gold in front of his base, which he needs to secure, which he will be doing now. Things are heating up here. Manticore's on the way. Hoplite's Peltis going to be the answer. But it just seems like there's just way more units on the field, right? For Magic.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here for Magic at the moment. I mean, this is kind of the natural progression of Atlantean against everything. You get the economic advantage until you don't. So Magic's going to hit full population first. Magic's going to put the pressure on first. Magic's going to try and get the map control. Mr. I mean, part of me feels like all he has to do is just sit back, get an Underworld timing to get a town center, and that's going to be his pathway to quality in this game. And equality as Greek, from what I understand, means victory for Greek in this matchup. But I mean, whether or not he's going to be able to play around the implode and everything else, Magic's got to get those citizens to work. They are sleeping on the job. It's not coffee break time.
They seem to think so. They're actually having a chat. They're talking about maybe a change in leadership. It's a coup organization right there. They're
Do we want aurochs for dinner? Do we want hippos for dinner? Do we want? Oh, don't zoom in on it. That's mean. Poor Magic.
oh, the donkeys, they don't like it either. They're like, hey, we're camera shy. Oh, this is a long time. Okay,
I mean,
this
this
is a notable amount of time now. He has 6 bills on food otherwise, 6 citizens on food otherwise. So
This is
it's
not
a very
normal.
noticeable thing.
He might not be notified for whatever reason that they're idle. Like,
There it goes.
there we go. All right, it's fine. Magic has hit full population. He is going in. He knows where the gold is, so he's going to be putting the pressure onto this one. Mister's got himself a decent amount of units. Remember, he's got that restoration, so
split for
chaos is not that big.
But he's not split.
No,
You still want to play around it, right? We're going to get the chaos. Surely here.
has to use it.
Yeah. The Peltis takes down the ballistas. There's chaos into the resto now. Yeah, barely even took damage. Full health now. One of the ballistas actually went down, the fire ballistas, which means you got a little bit of res back. One of those Kronos bonuses that you don't often think of.
Yeah, and it looks like Mister is more than going to be able to hold here. Those hoplites are just tanking up a storm. As Magic's timing, I mean, what does he get? He barely killed anything. And now,
Yeah.
Mister is already heading back up to full population. Apollo is available, and Magic, he's in a scramble.
Yeah, this is going to start to get tricky because keep in mind, there's a really good threat still on the board. Underworld is just so dynamic here, and Mista is probably one of the best players at using it. You can see the Pegasus on the left here of the screen, not just scouting, but looking for a good opportunity. You're going to see these gold miners get spotted, and we could just see an instant Underworld. Maybe on top of those, but probably looking for something a little juicier. Maybe he needs a few more hoplites before he really considers it. No, he's gonna go on this. He's gonna go on this 100%.
Yeah, there's so many.
Oh, but Magic's watching.
Quick to run. Oh, no, he's going to stay back. He's scared. He saw the blue dot and he's like, all right, let's run away. But the army, it's in position.
army's gonna
Magic
come
knows
back.
it's coming, but it's going to be a full population Greek charging forward here. The army for Magic's now fully upgraded. He's got the Arcus ball, but the Manticore, they're in, and that's a huge amount of damage onto the Arcus.
And the bills are off the gold. He has gone forward, and now this whole army, all the citizens, are actually cut off from the TC to the left. So it's always an option for Mista to just back up here. Wait for another Manticore special, maybe attack again.
The other thing is that both players are working towards a restoration and a chaos. Mister's going to have his restoration. Chaos is going to be down. It's just going to be the same thing again. But Magic, he's on 3 town centers now. He has moved off of this gold mine. He's in the center of the map. That gold mine's not that important, but he can go for the town center kill. That's what's big.
Yeah, he could. He doesn't have enough crush damage at the time. Not enough hoplites here to actually take that down, I think. I think he has to, I mean, maybe. Maybe now, there's like 8 hoplites. Is that enough?
I don't even know if it's 8. It's kind of like 4, right? There's really not that many.
Pop. He's at 192 pop, so he needs to do something. He's not on the TC in the middle, and now the units are coming. It looks like he will have just enough damage here between all of them, but barely. There's some hoplites. They're needed here, and actually, if the hoplites go down here, the Cantarius could have a field day. The Peltis not going to do very well versus them. The Cantarius are here. No reaction from Mista just yet. He might be losing a lot of units. The Ducks are here now as well. We're going to have to retreat, and the Chaos completely whiffs. The Chaos completely whiffs. He was too slow on the draw.
How does that even happen? Isn't it
He just
instant?
missed. He thought he could stop it, but he couldn't. And now Mista might just think about coming through because he has Resto. He might come back. No, he doesn't. He's going to stay back.
Yeah,
oh
he's
my
not gonna
gosh,
come
what
back.
a huge whiff from the Chaos. Now, it's not the end of the world, potentially, from Magic, but Atlas going to be a saving grace here, maybe?
Well, he clicks Atlas, but I saw Mista clicking up for Hera, and I was like, wow, his resources are really high. He's going to get there first, but it looks like the Implode is going to be the first one to hit the table here. And I think Mr. is going to be thinking, well, I'm going to be able to get my Lightning Storm down. This might be max value Implode versus max value Lightning Storm. Who comes out in front on that?
I don't know. Nobody? Spectators? You in
Spectators.
chat watching this right now? Everybody else, the restoration going to come in just to keep things
That
safe.
micro from Magic was so good.
Yeah.
He's not. It's so often you see players just go, oh, I just attack move. But Magic has the Gontarus there, and he just pulls them back, and he allows the Arcus to just get huge amounts of damage done. And that's making what's happening is the Peltas numbers are growing, and well, maybe not at the moment they were, and those hotline numbers dwindling, and then Magic will be able to push forward and take them all out. But this has now got himself a third town center. And that's huge. And he's doing it again. He knows exactly how to take these fights. Great micro with the Arcus as well, as he's going to be having to do some Kaida Rooneying there. Really nice play. And Mr. is also countering this back nicely. He runs those Peltats forward, but Magic takes his chance now to pounce.
Palace is probably going to go up. We're going to have Atlas versus Hera in just a moment. This game is going to end in fireworks point.
Well, there's gonna be a very big bang coming very shortly, but the Peltas do manage to get onto those Arcus numbers, and suddenly Mr. he's at 200 pop, and Magic is down to 180 pop.
Yeah, but that could change in a moment. Last time he had Migdal units with the champion upgrade, and this time he doesn't.
You can't run away from this one. You're gonna get when it gets placed down on your head, you get sucked in, and everything goes away. But how many units are left after the fact here is the question. Not very. They're all deleted. But Lightning Storm is available here. Lightning Storm is available. You can run away from Lightning Storm.
You need a kind of a trap, though. Yeah. You can't just cast it here. I think, and Mr. knows that. He's not dead right now. You lost a lot of units. You can cast it here. I'm not sure. Yeah. There's the cast. It's on the north.
There's the cast. Where's the damage?
Oh, well, there it is.
Up.
There it is. Oh my God, it was on the back. He big brained it. He cast it kind of on the back side of this fight. Maybe he had a Pegasus there, and it dealt so much damage. So army for army, tit for tat, the units going down, and on the back of it, again, the spectators are the winners. But looks like Mista with a slight advantage here.
It's very, very slight. The raids are starting up now for Magic. Magic's got to really dive in to his bag of tricks right now to find some advantage. He sees the villagers on that temple. Mr. is reacting quickly here. Mr. wants to finish this series in 5 games, right? The Argus come in. It's bitten out. You gotta watch for that, Spit. If any units are on it when it explodes, they take a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, this game is really spicy here. The population advantage very slightly in favor of Mista, only because some houses went down. Otherwise, we have a very even game on our hands with Magic's back against the wall in terms of the set. He's gonna need to find some very valuable gameplay here. He's gonna need to eke out this win in an even endgame at this stage. And Greek's late game is so good, and Mista is so good in the late game as well. 1 mil on food! Our Observer Vodka has pointed out a single citizen on food? Are you kidding? What?
What is he?
There's got to be a transition, or did something change that we missed?
He's got full villages. He's got 30 on gold. 30 on gold.
We must have missed something. Or maybe there's
He's
just
got 30. He's got... No, who needs farm?
Resto in the middle. When you're making Arcus, I guess? Yeah.
Argus. I don't see anything. All these units are going to die. Infantry beat archers if there is no front line. Chaos is in. Arcus going to be standing strong. Has to start retreating back. Another palace is up, though, for Magic. As some Contaris are in onto that back line, but the Athena hoplites are standing strong with all their upgrades. The Bellerophon there is getting huge damage, but will be getting taken down pretty quickly once it starts getting targeted. And Mista has to retreat back for the time being.
It's just an all-out brawl in the center right now. Mista slowly stocking up favor once again. What could this one be for? Maybe another restoration, maybe some more Medusas, but I'm honestly wondering if he wants to save for another Underworld, right? Because an Underworld here could be game-ending. I think Mista might be thinking that the economy of Magic is really solid, but we know as the spectators here, only 6 citizens on food. Like, the roster opportunities here for Magic are very limited, right?
Yeah, I mean, all he's doing is making Arcus and Mista. He's got
Peltas.
champion Peltast, and as
Where
good
we
as
seen
the
this
range
before.
is, it's just not enough.
Peltas are so good, and Mista's so good with them. The micro is there, the split damage is in. The Arcus Mass is getting traded down once again. First to the Lightning Storm, now to the Peltas. Several still alive, but in the meantime, 2 palaces have gone down, and with it, the central control once again shifts further and further of Mista. He's got the score lead. He's got 100 favor. We could see another restoration soon.
I just want to know what Magic is doing with all this gold. The problem with having this many
He's
villagers
been
on
buying
gold
food.
is he's been buying food.
He's been buying food. I'm telling you, he's buying food. I saw it several times.
I've seen this strategy before from Magic. I've seen it before. It is desperation play to say the very least. He knows he needs to do something to find an edge here. But the gold is going to be expiring on the map.
Oh,
That's
no.
the problem. As the Hoplites go in for the town, so they take it down so quickly.
Oh no, this is Champion Hoplites. The Greeks are in their peak form. Oh no, the Arcus are gonna have maybe a last stand, dare I say. The Peltas though coming in, restoration on all the hops. There's just nothing there. Where are the units? Where's the production? With 20 more Arcs in queue, but Arcus for what? Just to fight into Peltas Hoplite, I guess. It's just not enough.
I mean, moving forward here for Magic, he's lost the town center. I mean, he's on game point, so he's going to be attempting to play it out. I just don't know what else he can do. His army is pure Arcus at the moment, and he doesn't have any solid answer for the Hoplites or the Peltas or anything moving forward. It looks like Mista has just got all the advantage, and there's no weaknesses in the position at all that Magic can exploit now.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing he has going for him is this big, massive Arcus in the center, but he's lost every single building he's hit in the middle. He's now being pushed back to that choke point. It looks like this might be some sort of last stand. The population almost up by 100. Every time we've seen this from Mista, it's been domination. I just don't see it. I don't see it. No resources in the bank. No chance of any cool cast. Nothing there for Magic. I don't know.
Mr. kind of not losing the fights because he's still at full population, but Magic does manage to push him back for the time being, as Mr.'s going to have to regroup ever so slightly. More Argus are coming in to support the Arcus of Magic, but I mean, Magic is now on the top of the map. His trade routes being spotted. The side build coming in for Mr. Hoplites coming around onto the side, searching for Oracles, finding Oracles, taking those out. Bellerophon back into the fight yet again as Mr. is ready to go for his next march forward. Bull Minotaur coming through here as well. Bellerophon diving in to snipe the Arcus. And in that moment, Magic taps out, and you have your champion, the Mr. Genesis EGC TV. What an insane finish. What an insane series. What an insane game, Winston.
What an insane set. My gosh, what a storyline, too. Magic winning in the upper bracket. Then Mista going down to the loser bracket, beating his brother, and then coming, well, not his real brother, his gaming brother, and then coming back in dominant form here. You know, we were talking about maybe seeing a game 7 here, but Magic just didn't quite have it in him. There were a couple of these games here which just seemed like peak Mista, and I don't know, man. Magic looked so solid earlier on. What happened?
Well, I don't know if you can like really chalk it up to anything in particular. Like, I think Mista just pulled out some of those premium strategies with the Egyptians that maybe Magic just hadn't seen before. Like the ISIS game on Oasis, the I'm
Mhm.
all of the stuff that Mister's just been able to pull out throughout this series has just been premium. Even here, where it's like Magic seemed to get off to a really, really good start, Magic just couldn't kind of find his way through to any sort of conversion in the position. I don't know if that was just like maybe he didn't use that time shift well enough to get in and get reinforcements to help out on the push. You know, you've got to defend his advantage and have his tech, his heavy upgrades to make the push work. Maybe he didn't have the strongest of armies, even though he had the pop lead. But I mean, credit where credit's due. Just ridiculous series from TheMista.
That was ridiculous. That was peak Mista. He definitely came back with a vengeance after that first series, and I have to give credit to Magic. I think this is the best I've seen him play in Retold in this tournament here, right? It's been really special to watch him in this whole tournament, and I gotta give props, man. He's giving Mista a run for his money. He won a set. He took down the king. The first set loss he gave to him in that upper bracket. I think that is important to remember. He has been the one to show the way, and even though he wasn't able to really bring it home here, I can't wait to see what happens in the next tournament, because I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of these two facing off against each other in what I think will become, if it's not already, one of the best matchups in RTS.
Yeah. What a
High
time to be alive.
expectations. But, you know, I think quite often we talk about him as the Greek god of Age of Myth. More of a Jesus role in this one. Finally, he does get taken down, but resurrects and looks even stronger than ever before. Big congrats to Mr. Commiserations to Magic. An insane day of action. I mean, Magic, he should be proud of what he's done here. Big evolution. Yes, he's a guy who has high standards. We talked about this, that there's going to be this expectation, this pressure he puts on himself to deliver the best, but he went up against the current best without a doubt, and he came so close. It might not show in the 4-1 scoreline, but it definitely showed across the day. Ah, wow. Phenomenally well played. And, you know, boys, like looking back at this, I think we can say some of these games were tight in interesting ways, right? Like, I think in particular, you have to give a lot of credit to the level that Mista had to play at to overcome some of those games. I'm thinking, you know, the ISIS Gaia game, the way he executed there, the Odin versus 4 game, the small details. I mean, boy, you said it when we were drumming up hype about the series. You're like, it will be one or two very small things in the majority of these games that decides the outcome.
Yeah, I
100%.
mean, crazy.
You look at Forest Fire on Marsh. You look at like the Valley of the King's Fast Mythic Blue Lagoon, kind of like just crazy, just catching Magic off guard. You look at the Monument Empowerment delay on the implode. All of that stuff just really translates. I mean, even the moment where Magic gets his win in the Hades versus Zeus matchup, where you know it's a small moment, but army gets split up, Magic takes the initiative and gets the win there. It's all just one decision, and things go the wrong way in this game, Age of Mythology.
I think also someone can say Winston is the world is closing in on Mista, shall we say. You know, the competition has leveled up. There would have been no doubt in anyone's mind who the world champion was going to be. But here at Genesis Retold, there was a few other names going around. I mean, the 3 that we saw in the final day, it felt right. And it felt like a day where any of them potentially could have taken it.
Yeah, definitely a chance for Magic here. You even saw that on game 2 on Kerlaugar. Like, Magic has it, man. He's got the hands. He can throw punches. He can take these games. He can win it. And yeah, I'm a little disappointed, right? Like, I really wanted to see that go to game 7, but when you see Mista playing that spectacularly in those final couple games, it's kind of like, okay, like, I kind of get it. This is starting to make sense of it. But man, Magic put on quite the show for us, right? So good. So good. These two are so good at this game.
I am heartbroken we did not get to my favorite Ghost Lake. I feel robbed. It feels like the classic. It feels like the way it would have had to have ended. But I mean, Mista, he doesn't want to wait around. I believe we're going to be getting Mista on the line in just a minute to get his thoughts on this. I don't believe we have a camera feed for him this time. Probably because it's been a long day, and if we saw the internals of his room, it would look like a smoking parlor from the 80s, right? But we've got him on the line. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. to the call.
Hello, hello, hello.
Mr. We got to stop meeting like this, mate. Finals every time. I mean, we got to talk about this, right? You've set a very high expectation. How many months until farming season begins?
Mid-March.
Mid-March. So what? Probably 2, maximum 3 more tournaments you need to win, and then no one can kill you. You've just gone for the rest of the year, right? That's the plan.
I mean, yeah, as long I will play in any tournament that happens in between now and mid-March. After mid-March, it's gonna be really, really, really hard, almost impossible.
I mean, this tournament looked hard. Okay, can we talk a little bit about that? The level up in competition. I mean, your boy Recon, he almost pushed you down to that lower bracket yesterday, and then the way that Magic turned up. Does it feel like the quality of competitors is on a whole other level this time?
Yeah, definitely. People are playing the game, so it's only natural for everyone to get better, right?
Who do you think is going to take you down? Like, you don't want to. If you had to guess in the future, I'm not saying when, but whenever it happens, who do you think will be the person to end your streak?
I don't know. There are a lot of good people and a lot of people who are improving really fast. So, but if I were to call names, it's probably either Magic or Recon, to be honest.
There you go. We got the perfect lineup for the final day. I mean, let's talk a little bit about the Recon series at start day, because we had 5 games yesterday, but today it felt quite one-sided. Like, what changed, right? And we'll get into the Magic one as well. But both of these series, it felt like you were playing very different after coming, in one case, that close to losing, and the other one actually losing.
Well, I had to lose, man. The pressure was too much. I know I don't know how it sounds, but I was really shaky. Like every series I've been playing in this tournament, I was like, I must not lose. I shouldn't lose. What will people think if I lose? And the moment I lost against Magic, there was no more stress. I was like, okay, we lost now. We can just play the game. Doesn't matter what happens.
I think I always like to quote Dota 2 on this one. Kuroki put it best: "Upper bracket is for pussies." There's something refreshing, I guess. Like, it's interesting to think about it that way. You just get, I guess, once you hit that lower bracket, you're up against Recon. Was your mentality just, I'm playing games now?
It's like my body, like every game I played today, the first 5 games and the games yesterday against Recon, I was just shaky. I was just like really, really nervous. So when I lost to Magic, it's just like all that tension was just gone. That was the biggest difference between my yesterday games and my early games today. I just wasn't stressed. So I wasn't overthinking. I was just playing.
And also, like, I don't know. I felt like would you say your drafting was even better in the last 2 series, right? Like, your drafting has been solid throughout, but it almost felt like you had both Recon and Magic's numbers when it came to the drafts this time.
Yeah, it's as I said, overthinking, right? So, like in both drafts against Recon and Magic, the first ones, I was trying to take away gods. I was trying to snipe matchups. And in my last 2 drafts, I was just like, I'll just play what I feel comfortable playing on each map.
Makes sense.
That's why the draft was totally different, and my picks on each map was totally different.
I mean, it definitely paid off. It came out clean, But now we've got to look forward, right? Another tournament coming up, which I'm sure you're going to be participating in December. Rumors rumbling about other tournaments next year. How's the future of Mythology looking for you?
I mean, I love the game. I've never practiced so much in my life. Like, I've never played so much RTS games, custom games, etc. in my life. And that means that I enjoy the game. And I really like the game. It's like, normally after playing so much, I would be like totally burnt out. I wouldn't even want to touch the game. But right now with Retold, it's different. I'm enjoying playing the game.
I mean, that's beautiful to hear, man. We've talked about this before. It's easy to kind of overwork. Sometimes you want to take a break. And I mean, I guess this is going to be the true test. Come next year, farming season starts, you might not want to stop playing the game.
There's no alternative on that one. It's like...
You'll be playing it in your head, mate. I know what you're like. But I think what we'll do now is we will congratulate you one final time because you are the Genesis Retold champion. Is there anything you want to say to all the people watching at home right now?
I mean, thanks for watching, and I want to thank Rappel, Recon, Grass, Eric, Kama, Tunison, and all the people that I played customs with. Like, thanks a lot.
Thank
And
you, Mister. Oh,
obviously, the people who are like watching Age of Mythology, right?
of course.
We
do it for
wouldn't
them.
we wouldn't be here if those guys weren't there watching.
The real winners.
And EGCTV for hosting so many amazing tournaments.
Indeed.
Thank you, Mister. It's been a pleasure to watch you go through this. I mean, it's been a pleasure. I hopped on your journey at the start of AOE4. I know, boy, Winston, we're on board with that a lot longer, and it's always been a pleasure to watch you evolve.
And
Sportsmanship, performance, all of it. Go ahead, mate.
And
huge
respect and love for my wife, who's been supporting me, accepting me practicing instead of spending time with her.
Very nice.
big shout out to her. Mate. I can imagine. I know how committed you are when you get locked in. She's probably just been like phoning you to try and stay in contact. But mate, I'll let you go spend some time with her now. I think she has earned a wonderful evening out on the town with you to make up for these long, grindy sessions. Congrats, Mister, and we look forward to seeing more of you in the future.
Thank you. Bye bye, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Congratulations.
Thanks, Mr. Congrats.
Always a bloody pleasure. I mean, you know, we said we kind of want to see him lose, and we did get to see him lose in the tournament at some point. Just because, you know, I've talked about this before, the whole idea of like the unbeatable guy. It's cool at first, but you want to vote for the underdog. But at the same time, he's one of the hardest people to cheer against. Right? I think we can agree on that. His sportsmanship, his overall attitude, his demeanor. You know, he's not cocky, he's confident. He always tries to raise everyone around him up. And you know what? Today, he raises himself up to first place. But along the way, it's fair to say that everyone's got that champion they're chasing, right? Boy, that person they need to beat. And right now, that is Mister. And that will do incredible things for all these competitors you see on your screen here. They will grind, they will watch this, they will review this, and they will see him as the target to beat, and they will not stop until they catch up.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, whenever you've got like a goal as a competitor, to just there's a player to beat. It's just something that just locks you in, and I think we saw that in this tournament in a big way. I think they all have their scope pointed firmly at the Mister. They're like, I want to get that win, and you know, Magic, he didn't get the tournament win, but he did get that first win in the series in the tournament, and that's got to feel like something special, some sort of like something to take away from the tournament. Say, look, I can do this, and when the next one comes, he's going to be going for it yet again. It's a different tournament, it's a different format. It's going to be a different sort of situation. So I mean, there's a lot to look forward to, and I think everyone else is going to be looking at those games and going, "Wow, that's the kind of stuff that you can do in this game. Let's start making it happen."
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about like how things can evolve, because I think the weird thing as well is like, you know, it's not just the old guard. I mentioned this yesterday. Grass. I mean, I think he should especially be proud of himself. Other youthful players coming in. I mean, this is the thing we look for, Winston. Right? Like RTSs are a boom of esport. Right? Like that's the reality. But the cool thing that we've been seeing, we see it in AOE4 as well. You've been seeing it recently in AOE2. The Age of games are somehow starting to rope in these youthful under 20 players. And they are making these deep appearances in these tournaments. The future is bright.